strange tales, oddball theories, off-topic stories. It's time for more tangents with Harry.
Speaking of Piss Cat, a long time ago, I did my internship, and they put me to do the internship at Tufts University School of Veterinary Medicine. And I was like working on my computer, and all you could smell was like formaldehyde, because like they would bring all kinds of like animals in with like issues, you know, like Clydesdales with like eating disorders, you know, or I think like you know, camels, you know, with like whatever one hump, whatever. You know, they're like a bison with cancer.
That's where he.
But anyway, I was working on my computer, and this nurse walked in. She was holding this cat, and she's like, "Hey Harry, like my cat?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like kind of half paying attention. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, yeah." And it's like, "No, look at it." And she like turns around, and this cat had two faces. It was supposed to split into. It was supposed to split into two different cats, but it didn't make it that far. It had two working mouths, three eyes. With the eye in the middle was like in mid split. You know what I mean? It was like,
oh my god!
And it was so scary looking, you know. And I think it's the oldest living, or was. I don't know if they're still with us, or if they're still with us. But it's the oldest living Janus cat, which means like
wow.
It's in the Guinness Book of World Records if you look it up, and it had two different names. I forget.
Sorry, I laughed so hard this stream. I'm dehydrated.
Sorry. I gotta...
Harry, you kill me, dude. I love it. Mike, how about you? Do you have anything else that you want to
I'm working on a new book called The Anorexic Clydesdale. I'm really excited about that.
It was so scary. It was like a 10-foot tall horse, like with like all skin and bones. It was scary.
It's a horror
Camel won't stop smoking.
Join us next time for more tangents with Harry.
What?
What? What? What?
What?
We've got mighty mascots! We've got mighty mascots!
You asked for it, so we delivered. The Mighty Mascots is now in demand on Indiegogo. Get your mascots today!
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and promoter for the Plastic City Comic-Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana, Surrounded by Death, and The Pond for who, Johnny?
My good cousin, Roger Morocco.
Absolutely. And our third co-host, Harry G., graphic artist extraordinaire. What's going on, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Not much. I was just saying to Harry back in the... Go ahead, Harry.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
No, I was asking Johnny if that's the new shirt. New shirt, Johnny, from your...
No, I think
this is from the campaign. When we did the Kickstarter campaign, I did these really nice, high-quality tees that this thing's been through the wash a bunch, and it still hasn't faded, hasn't cracked. The provider for this T-shirt did the T-shirts for the Celtics that year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool,
Big
man.
shout out to my good friend James DePaul, who put me in touch with this guy.
The other. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
came out
to cut you off.
You wear that at shows? I don't remember. Do you wear that at conventions?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been I used to wear all kinds of different T-shirts at Comic-Cons, but now I've kind of fallen into just wearing the Mighty Mascots one just because thinking of more branding and IP and all that crap, you know.
So I like to wear this shirt when I'm at Dynamite because it's TV time, right?
Yeah.
And one of the times I went, somebody actually recognized the shirt and was like, "Hey, I backed that campaign."
Oh, cool.
It was just so cool to see, like, in person, somebody recognize it and go, "Oh, I like your work." That's more valuable to me than money. And when it comes to comics, somebody actually enjoying your work.
No, that's great. I think I
Definitely
wore
a
it
cool
when
shirt
we
to
went
wear around Halloween or whatever. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep stepping on you.
Well, when Johnny was so gracious to have me with him on the front row at AEW like a couple months ago, I wore the Mighty Mascots shirt, and it got right on camera when they did that audience. Like that scan, you could see it like clear as day. So
It's great branding.
Oh my God, you can't ask for anything better.
I know, right?
It's like
what I've been watching? I don't know if you guys have you guys watched any of that Mr. McMahon documentary?
I've seen it all already. I watched it a while ago though. When it first came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have 2 more episodes to go.
It was good for me because I missed like huge chunks of the WWE era. Like I kind of understand now the Attitude Era and all that different stuff. So it was good for that for me. But like I feel like somebody that's into WWE, it's going to be a lot of retread and not a lot of new information.
I think if you saw the Dark Side of the Ring on it, you've seen it all. I mean, there's a little bit more that I learned from that Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
More specifically, Shane McMahon, his son, and the relationship they had, and how what Vince McMahon's father did to him, he did to his own son. You know what I mean? So like a little bit of that was kind of like apparent
legacy, like
and it just made me feel real bad. Yeah, it made me feel real bad for Shane McMahon, honestly.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, no, I liked it though. It's good. It's entertaining. It's worth watching, for sure.
I had no idea how calculating he was, how everything is like a plan, like or an act.
Oh, yeah.
Like the show
straight up. He's a James Bond villain in real life.
Right. Like during the steroids, trials or whatever, he wore like a neck brace. And then they
everything's calculated.
It's kind of like a gimmick they used in wrestling because like Bobby the Brain, he didn't have a neck brace during a certain time during wrestling. Like
can't break kayfabe.
Yeah,
right. Right.
So funny. Before we bring in tonight, we got a packed show tonight.
We got a big show tonight.
We have like 3 guests coming on, and then we also, me and Johnny, want to actually talk about Indie Creator Con at some point tonight. So
awesome.
That'll probably be at the end. We'll do like a quick recap and just talk about the show. And we have a video from the show that me and Johnny and good friend George O'Connor, we filmed at Louis Lunch, which is a place you saw on the Travel Channel.
Something like that.
It was like the home of the first hamburger.
Right.
Which I got to say, dude, New Haven, like it is a food town, huh? Like,
straight up.
I can't believe like me and Amy, when we drove home Saturday night, we were trying to go to one of the 3 pizza places that were supposed to be like unbelievable in New Haven. And like, we couldn't go to any of them. They were all packed out the door, like insane.
So I don't think I got a chance to tell you about it. So when we talk about it later, more specifically pizza, I have a little button-up story that I can.
Oh, I got to hear that. All right, let's save that for the end. Yeah. Before we bring in tonight's guest, though, I want to just zip through the chat real quick.
Let's do it.
We got So What You Want said, "Hey all, thanks for watching."
That's me on Twitch.
Oh, that's you. Okay, I thought that was Amy. I was like, okay.
Hey, John.
I'm here. I'm over there.
Talking about the Janus cat, he said that cat must have been able to smell so much with the 4 nostrils.
Oh man,
I know, right?
4 Frankie and Louie.
Nightmares for
we speak your names.
Yeah,
we speak your names.
Oh, and Amy's talking about the Surrounded by Death shirt. Says, I have one of those shirts. When I wear it while out for a walk, people do a double take because it legit looks like I had an accident.
Yeah, it's got that nice blood splatter.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, very nice.
Hey, Travis is in the chat with us, and I got wicked drawn into the cat story. Harry's got a memory for details.
I was dying. I was legit dying of laughter that episode. It was just so
oh my
funny.
God.
when you
And that video's hilarious.
when you're face to face, when you're face to faces with that cat, you don't forget it. You know?
Amy did a good job of producing that video
tonight. Hey, Dr.
Very
Mask.
good.
Hey, Dr. Mask.
Did you got to see him at
Absolutely. We chit-chatted a little bit, and we both met Richie Acosta at the same time, Daredevil artist.
Oh, I came in late after that, I think.
Yes.
Like right as you guys, because you pointed him out to me, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little more. Hey, look at this. Roger Morocco. I love you guys.
I love him.
That's awesome. Good to see you, Roger. Roland said, here's something they'll never talk about, how Jakks Pacific got the rights to produce WWE toys. Allegedly, Vince met with a rep from Jakks at a club and left with a suitcase of $1 million in cash.
I believe that.
I believe that too.
That's believable. That's very believable.
Dr. Mass says, great seeing you guys at the con.
Yeah.
Travis
It was a
says,
long ride for him too.
Faces to faces, I'm dead.
The Janus cat.
Yeah, the Janus cat.
Yeah.
Oh,
whenever you're Janus cat, I think of the '95 Judge Dredd movie.
Oh,
yeah, that was the experiment, the Janus experiment.
Yes, that's right. I forgot
wow.
about that. I would wear a Surrounded by Death shirt, Dr. Mass says.
Oh, right on. So that's a tier I should bring back on the next Surrounded by Death campaign.
Maybe
I
have the
one.
original design and maybe a new one or something like that. Or
Well, so
just have it as an add-on.
spin-off. I think I'm going to go with the spin-off, and I already have the title of it. So I'll probably do a little a little like the spin-off shirts design.
Are you you keeping the title under wraps for now? Or?
I've only told one person so far, and that's the cover artist.
Okay. Well, when the time is right, you have to break.
I'll tease it like this, because I wasn't sure if I was going to do a annual or a spin-off. So this book, the title, so where I pitch Surrounded by Death as kind of Mallrats meets The Walking Dead.
Okay.
This would be like the way Fear the Walking Dead is to The Walking Dead. This would be to Surrounded by Death. So this is Surrounded by Death's Fear the Walking Dead, for the lack of a better description.
Gotcha. So like a classic spin-off, but like with a slightly different title, something like that.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
I wanted to just keep that same naming convention of
no, it makes sense.
Like
you don't want to go straight
The
too
Walking
far.
Dead and just adding something beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to stray too far.
No,
I agree with that.
It's satire, it's parody. I want it to stay in line with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Diaz is with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, man.
And Dr. Mass says, yeah, I've been chatting with Richie since the show. That's awesome.
Oh, awesome. That's great. So I loved connecting them too, because I didn't really know Dr. Mask was working on a project until he showed me.
It's actually a pretty cool project.
Very cool project. Yeah. So it was almost kismet that Richie was there and we were all able to connect. It was great.
I like what he's doing. I couldn't vision it when he was first telling me about it. But now when he started showing me everything at the show, I was like, I could see it. I was like, okay, this is great,
Yeah.
And I actually lettered a couple of the comic segments for him over the weekend. So I'm waiting to, I'll be looking for his feedback tomorrow to see how those turned out.
Nice.
And then a couple more comments and we'll get to the guests. You can't see me. Your time is up. My time is now.
Oh, he's quoting John Cena.
I love it. And
that's a great heel turn.
It's crazy how it all worked out.
For sure.
Agree. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's great to see all you guys. And we'll do a recap at the end, probably after the 3 guests, about IC3. And we'll show the video that we made of Louis' lunch, which is a little fun video of
lots of guest stars in that video too.
Yeah, we have Dean Haspel with us, and also George O'Connor, which is great. And Amy cut it together.
Could be a new bit. You guys can go when you guys go to different locations. You guys can go to the best.
Yeah, like make little videos like that or something.
We weren't even expecting to do that. We just wanted to grab like food, and then I was like, well, we should record a video while we're here. And George was there, I was there. We were all there. Like it was just perfect.
We kind of turned the camera on, and I wasn't sure it would cut together into anything, but Amy put it together like a wizard. So
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first guest tonight is got a Kickstarter project called Angel Hunter. His name's Richard Davis, and I believe he's done stuff for Source Point, a comic called
Somebody get
Cult
that.
of Dracula. Yeah, we're in a call center right now. But he's done a previous comic called Cult of Dracula, which I believe my wife picked up and had very high praise for. So, but yeah, looking forward to talk to him. First time being on Indie Comics Relay. So, without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest, Rich Davis. Rich,
hey, what's guys? How you doing?
Good.
Hey,
Welcome to Indie Comics Relay. We always look forward to having new people on the show. Johnny, you look like you're ready to say something there.
Rich, I think we may have met before.
I thought we did. Your voice sounded really familiar, and then when I saw your face, like I know this guy from somewhere, but I don't know where.
It was either Fan Expo Boston, maybe, or C2E2.
C2E2, yeah, I didn't.
That
do
must have been it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be at C2E2 again this year in Artist Alley. If anybody's there, come see me.
Right here.
Awesome. Richard, where are you from? Are you from you from that area or?
No, I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So
yeah,
Balls.
comics made it up this way. Like I was saying earlier, my wife had picked up Cult of Dracula at one of our local stores around here, and I had high praise for the series. So
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Cult sold well over 100,000 units across the six issue series. And I followed that up with Rise of Dracula. Reign of Dracula came after that. My newest book, Prometheus and Janes, is in stores now. That's my take on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this until they come and kick me out and tell me I can't anymore.
Right on. Hey, are you just like a huge fan?
Sounds like my
plan. Are you
plan.
just a huge fan of Dracula? Oh,
it's like all you do, you know?
Yeah, right.
Are you just a huge fan of Dracula, or?
Yeah,
the Universal monsters.
Yeah, love the Universal monsters. Always have.
Yeah, I did. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, was from Tallahassee, Florida, and we went on the like a trip on a pontoon boat on the swamp. Yeah. They filmed the Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's pretty.
Oh wow!
And it was like this time of year, maybe around April. I was like wearing like a t-shirt and shorts, and everybody on the pontoon boat was like dressed in like furs and like scarves and like mittens, like looking at me like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "No, I'm from New England. You know, it's like spring weather. It's like, I feel alive in this."
Yeah,
right. But it was fun.
What were you gonna say, Rich? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was joking with him about him being from New England down, be cold. It's like, yeah, that's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right, exactly right.
So let's take a step back for a second, Rich, and whenever we have a new guest on the show, we always like to find out your origin, how you was there a comic that in your past or a movie or a TV show, cartoon, something along those lines that sparked your interest in comics and sparked your interest in wanting to be in this industry? Is there something you can point to?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I really got into the Age of Apocalypse, the first one.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and my parents, they kind of tricked me into learning to love to read, which led to a huge love of comic books. Because when I was a kid, I just wanted to play video games and play baseball. But my mom and my dad, they tricked me. They said, if you do well in school, if you do all your chores, don't get in trouble, we'll take you over to the comic book shop, which was like 2 towns over. And I would go in there and buy just stacks of comics, and my little kid brain didn't realize that was reading. And, so it really just became a lifelong love, picking up X-Men. I think I read every X book that came out in the 90s. Amazing Spider-Man was always one. Loved Superman. And then I got into horror comics really after reading Sandman. And the Death series really, I don't know, it really hit me, one fine day, just the fact of Death has to live as a human for one day.
Yeah, that was great
You know, 'cause
stuff.
you're going to take a life, you've got to understand life. And
Yeah, right.
powerful, man.
Great
just,
stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that whole Vertigo era that started
my
around
God.
Sandman, and like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing was around that time, and
Yep.
DC was really doing some exciting stuff at that point that like
Yeah.
permeated in my brain, you know. So yeah, I totally get that. It's great stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love that.
how did you kind of like how like what year did you put out your first comic? Like how did you like kind of position yourself into wanting to write comics?
So my first comic, Cult of Dracula, hit shelves in 2021.
Okay.
Prior to writing comics, my background was in playwriting and screenwriting.
Oh, no
Did
kidding.
I did a lot of script doctor work. You know, it just seemed like a natural progression to take a stage play, which I wrote Cult of Dracula originally as a stage play.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and then I adapted it for a comic book because writing a screenplay or a stage script, it's very similar to writing a comic book script. You know, you're writing for an illustrator, whereas when you're writing a screenplay, you're writing for your director of photography. You know, you're telling them the images you want to see. You know, it has a lot more in common with screenwriting than it does with writing a prose novel. I
agree 100%. Like I often tell like whenever I do a panel and people want to talk about like how you break down a script to like for an artist, I always tell people to go look at storyboards, because storyboards are almost like a comic, because you have to be able to take, you know, the screenwriter has to be able to tell, like you said, the DP or the artist what's happening, and like they have to
same thing. Yeah,
it really is. And it teaches you how to find that one perfect snapshot of the action.
Yep.
You know, from panel to panel and things like that. So it's like, yeah, love that. Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, though, one of the challenges there also is that, you know, when you're writing to two actors speaking to one another, it's a little bit different when you're kind of writing panel to panel, right? You start to realize, oh man, like each one of these pages is valuable real estate, that it's hard to have these really long dialogue exchanges. You kind of like, you want to write this really long dialogue thing. And you're like, oh, well, maybe this has to now become this, right?
Yeah, right.
And I was going to say, Rich, did you find any challenges similar to that in the process?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you read
talk about it?
Yeah, if you read Cult of Dracula issue 1, when we first meet the character of Robert Renfield, he's got like it's like a Brian Michael Bendis or an Alan Moore wall of text. But I drove Ed Dukeshire, who's my letterer for that. I know I drove him crazy because I insisted that every word of this speech had to be in there, because it was very important in establishing who Renfield was and the way that he spoke. Renfield is based on Charles Manson. And Manson had this really lyrical, poetic way that he spoke. And I wanted Renfield to have that same lyrical quality. And so, you know, the way, and Ed was amazing, the way that he broke it up, it really hit that. It really sounded like beat poetry or music. But it was really hard, you know, because I did edit some things. But when I finally got to the edited version that I was happy with, you know, I was like, Ed, you got to get every single word in here somehow. And he did. But it taught me a lot about keeping the dialogue shorter, quicker, punchier, you know, and choosing what is really relevant to the scene. You know, 'cause when you're writing a play script, you know, you've got to have a lot of, you know, meandering dialogue. Screenplays a little bit less. And then comic book scripts, you've really got to have an efficient economy with your words.
That's true. And then also whatever you can tell with the art and
yes,
that takes up some of the dialogue too. Like, you know, the way a person's posed or something's happening in the background can help, you know. That way you don't have to have the character say, hey, look at that. Or, you know what I mean? Or whatever. You just got to get a good string of like pithy and punchy, like, you know, dialogue pieces.
Right.
Yeah. You wipe out.
You did very well with that book. You did very well with that book. It was a top 50 best-selling books in 2021. Is that?
That's correct.
What I
Yeah,
read.
wow, congrats, man.
And you sold 10,000 units. So what does that mean? Like issues? Is that what a unit is?
So the book originally came out with a company called Second Sight Publishing. It was the very first book that they published. And issue 1 sold a little over 10,000 copies, which was mind blowing. And it sold so many copies that Second Sight couldn't afford to print issue 2. And that wasn't their fault. They weren't set up for it. They didn't have distribution, and I didn't even expect Cult of Dracula to hit the way it did. So Second Sight helped connect me with SourcePoint Press. SourcePoint came in, they reprinted issue 1, and then they took 2 through 6 from there. And all told, from across all 6 issues of Cult of Dracula, including retailer variants, we sold over 100,000 copies.
That's crazy. That's awesome,
man.
dude.
Congrats
That is
on
really
that.
cool.
Yeah,
And like I
was
said,
mine.
it permeated up here, and we're up in Massachusetts, so we had it in a few stores up here. And I know I think my wife bought the entire series. I remember seeing some of the covers. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Yeah. So got some fans up here this way.
It sounds like what Bob Ross said. It's like a happy accident. It became this like huge.
It really was. It's like, but that's in life. I just kind of stumble into things. I look back sometimes and I'm like, it's just crazy, man. I've worked in television. I've worked in radio. I've worked for 2 presidential campaigns, and it's just I don't know how any of this happens, but it just does.
That's crazy.
Can you share a little bit with the presidential campaigns? That's intriguing.
Yeah. So I worked for the Hillary Clinton campaign twice. I was the volunteer coordinator in Wilmington, North Carolina. I started out as a volunteer, and I just kept taking on more and more responsibility. And eventually they offered me a job. So I worked the first campaign, and they called me back on the second campaign, and worked for them. I got to travel all over the state of North Carolina, attended a lot of events. It was a really fun time, and something I never imagined I would do, but I did.
Huh. And then you became a comic writer. That's crazy. Yeah. What a crazy journey, dude.
We come from all walks of life.
Oh my God. Seriously, right?
I'm going to write a comic one day.
Can I ask you one?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm going to write a comic one day called Mediocre White Guy, and it's going to be the story of my life. And he's going to stumble into all these crazy big idea, things that are overwhelming, but he's like, what the hell? Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's like one part Mr. Magoo, one part Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
a little bit of personal history in there, peppered in.
That's great.
I totally relate to
Harry, what were you going to say though, Harry? Because I'm curious what your question was.
Well, no, I was going to say I saw you on a different podcast in getting ready for this podcast, and on your other book, Prometheus in Chains, I saw that you spent $26,000 on the artwork. How did that?
That's a little pricey. What you got, Alex Ross doing that book?
Yeah, well, Jordan Dorenzo, he's a fantastic artist. I mean, it's in the book. You can see the art that he does.
Is it a guy that's not a traditional comic person? Is that why it was so much?
He's a comic book artist. He was sent to me by the late Tom Lyle, Spider-Man, Batman. And Tom said, excuse me, when I was looking for an artist for Cult of Dracula, I was trying to go cheap by getting a student, and Jordan had just graduated from SCAD. And Tom told me, he said, Rich, Jordan is by far the best comic book artist that I have ever taught. And, I saw the things he sent to me were amazing, and I believed it. Things didn't work out with him on Cult of Dracula. We ended up going with Henry Martinez, Midnight Suns, Spirits of Vengeance, things like G.I. Joe. And things kind of came full circle with Jordan. I met up with him again at New York Comic Con, and I was like, hey, I got this book. I think your style is perfect for it. And, he jumped on, and, 150 a page, pencils and inks, and you're spreading that across 6 issues. It ended up being like 156 pages total in the series. Then of course you add your colorist and your letterer, and you always have to pay your creative team. It sucks as a creator because I know I'm not going to make my money back until the trade's been out for 2 years probably.
Right.
It's you're playing the long game with it.
Gotcha. When you spread it out like that, that makes more sense to me now.
And you get what you pay for, man. I've looked at some artists who are cheaper on their page rates, but their line work is weak sometimes, or their panel layouts, or they just don't have the creativity, or you just don't vibe with them. Jordan, he was well worth every penny I spent on that art.
Gotcha.
I think I tell people that Prometheus Chains is the best thing I've ever written. It's probably the best thing I will ever write, and
wow. Okay.
It wouldn't be the same without Jordan Dorenzo's art.
I'll have to take a look at that one. I'm not familiar with that one. Did that come out from did it come out? Did you self-publish that one, or did that one?
No, it came out through Red 5 Comics.
Red 5. Okay, I've heard of them. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at that one. It sounds cool. But before we run out of time, I definitely want to take a look at this newest campaign you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a campaign
not launched yet. Not launched yet, but you're just page, right?
I really want to lay
you're trying to get
groundwork first. Do the pre-work.
Right.
That way people are ready for it, and you're not playing catch up the day that you launch.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So yeah, you're trying to get more eyes on it, get more people on the mailing list. Now the Kickstarter is called Angel Hunter. Let's take a quick look at that campaign here. Let's see.
And while it's coming up, can you kind of just give like the basic pitch for Angel Hunter?
Yeah. So Angel Hunter is a seinen manga inspired dark fantasy told in the American comic book style. It's about humanity's first strides after being expelled from Eden, and humans have to claw out an existence in a world dominated by the 13 fallen angels and an army of kaiju Nephilim.
Oh, wow.
I like the idea of that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
The artwork is really nice.
Packing it on Kickstarter do too.
The artwork is really nice. Who are you working with this time for?
This is Les Garner. He did Apocalypse Girl and Homestead. He's got another book called Brides coming out. Les has worked with me on every book I've ever done in one form or another, either as a cover artist. He did backup inks on Prometheus and Chains. He did the illustrations for Reign of Dracula. Les is a great guy. He's like my brother. We fight like hell every day, but we love each other. And the product just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks great, dude. And is this is this gonna be another mini series, or is this just a kind of graphic novel?
This one is very ambitious.
Okay.
I have mapped this story out to go 10 volumes. Each volume is the equivalent of 6 issues. The smallest issue is issue 1, and it's 96 pages. The rest are going to be in the range of 120 to 144. So when we're all finished with this, it's going to be well over 1,000 story pages.
Wow.
We're skipping the floppies. We're going straight manga style. We're going to release the book in volumes. We're even going to do the digest size. We really want to pay respect to the manga genre. This is by far the most ambitious thing that I've ever attempted in comics. But we believe in it. Les and I, we feel like we've got something special here. And I have the same feeling about Angel Hunter that I had about Cult of Dracula when it came out. I just really feel like it's something special, and I think it's going to have legs, and it's going to be one of those properties that can spread into other genres, other mediums. I think it's perfect to be adapted into an anime. We've even talked about doing a trading card game with it.
Cool.
So it's something I hope is going to occupy my time for the next 8 or 10 years.
Right on.
Awesome, dude.
Now, I know since the campaign isn't officially launched yet, can you maybe tease or promo any special tiers that you're going to offer in the campaign itself?
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited about this. One thing we didn't want to do was just, kind of spam people with crap that they don't care about, little tchotchkes and doodads. So everything is really focused on either story or art. So we've got some really rad variant covers. Jay Ferguson just sent me one that blew my mind. Ingrid Gala is doing a stunning cover. Greg Land is doing a variant for it. And each one of these artists who are doing covers are also going to do 10 sketches for the audience. So anything they want drawn, the artists are going to do it if they back that particular tier. So there's you're going to get a lot of original art. We're going to do metal prints of each one of the covers so they look really cool on metal, man. It really does. And a lot of things like that, just really focus on art and story. We're going to release official signed and numbered scripts for the story so people can kind of read it and see how it progresses. And we're going to do a thing where, you can back it. And Les will sit down and give you like an hour, basically pitch an artist, and I'm going to do the same as a writer, give people a chance to do that. So we've got, I'm excited about the tiers. This is my first time doing a Kickstarter.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We did one for Reign of Dracula, but that was handled by the publisher. Cult of Dracula did one for the hardcover deluxe edition, but again, it was handled by SourcePoint Press. This is really my first go at it. And we're going to have a lot of retailer tiers as well. The goal with that is to get it in the hands of comic book shops for a fraction of what they would have paid to get it from a distributor like Diamond or Lunar or Penguin Random House, because they don't give retailers the margins they provide with the retailer makes it cost prohibitive to support.
Everyone needs their little cut, so
and when it's all said and done, the retailer, they're getting screwed about as much as the creator does. So we're gonna try to change that. We're in an era where creators don't need publishers and publishers don't need distributors. There's no reason why you can't take it directly to your audience, and so that's what we're gonna do. You're gonna find it in comic book stores because I'm gonna bug the hell out of every retailer I've ever met to get it, and then you're gonna be able to get these really cool Kickstarter variant. The variant covers will only be available on Kickstarter.
I don't think you have a problem doing that, Rich. I think
those pages are beautiful.
Manga is the thing too. People are into the manga. Are you going to offer some of your old work on the campaign as well as for add-ons and stuff?
We're going to offer digital bundles, with high-res PDFs, and then also the trade paperbacks. I don't have a lot of Cult of Dracula left. When it was optioned for a television series, it sold out. And was really, really difficult to find. I've got some left. I've got more of Rise, and since Prometheus just came out, I've got quite a few of those. So we're going to offer those as tiers. Anything we can do to bribe people to back that project.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's great. I look forward to seeing how this project comes along. I shared out the link to the audience if you guys want to click on it and hit the notify me on launch, if you're interested in this. It sounds like a great idea. Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry if I missed it, but did you have an actual launch date or kind of a window when you can tease?
April 25th. So we put the advance page up 2 months before the Kickstarter launches, and now we've got another month to go. We're really going to start marketing hard with the email list and things now that we've got quite a few people signed up to be notified. April 25th we're going to launch, and May 25th we're all going to be billionaires.
That's
great. How it works, right?
Right.
Well, right. We helped you a little bit, Rich. We got you. We bumped you up to 86 followers. It looks like it was 83 before. So that's good. We always say on this show that we don't move the needle a huge amount, but we move it a tiny bit. So we
I'll
always
take everything I can get.
yeah. Great. It's a great attitude. You got to come back on the show sometime. Maybe when you're doing the second volume, maybe we can have a longer form interview with you.
Anytime,
especially if your career and yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
You sound like you got a great, rich history, and like I'd love to hear about your film work and things like that. You know,
Where can I find you at C2E2? Do you have your table assignment yet?
It will be in Artist Alley. I don't know my table yet.
Okay, right on.
So yeah, I can have Jeff message it to you and let you know. But yeah, please come see me. I'd love to see you face to face and hang out for a bit.
For sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And do you ever make your way up here into the New England area at all, Rich?
Yeah. I did Boston. I think in 2021 or 2022, I did Boston. I've done New York Comic Con every year since 2021. I do Big Apple Comic Con in New York. For some reason, New York cons like me. They keep inviting me back.
What about Terrificon? You haven't done Terrificon yet?
I haven't done Terrificon. It's always conflicted with something else I've been scheduled to do.
Gotcha.
I would love to do Terrificon. It's one of the ones I've always really wanted to do, but just haven't.
I think you would do well at that show because it is. Wouldn't you say, Johnny? It's like very comic focused Terrificon. So like, despite being a big show, it's got a nice ecosystem. Like it's not overpowered by celebrities, and he does bring a lot of comic guests in. So a lot of comic readers do come to the show. So I recommend that one. What's that?
Is there a waiting list for that one too? Is there like a long waiting list for that one too?
For Terrificon?
Probably.
Yeah.
Not really. If you get in early, it's usually it sells quick, but you can usually get a table if you try to get in with the first couple of months of announcements. So, but yeah, no, this looks great. I think this is going to be up a lot of people's alley, especially manga people, and dark fantasy. It just looks like it's going to be really cool, and I wish you luck. I think it's such an ambitious project to do. Saying you're going to commit the next 8 to 10 years of your life to the series.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing, man. So I wish you great luck with the campaign. Also, before we let you go for the night, did you have any other anything else you wanted to promote, like your social medias or anything like that you wanted to throw out there?
Sure. You can go Facebook and Instagram. You can follow the Angel Hunter pages. You can follow me, Rich Davis Comics. Very active on Facebook. I've got a good community there. World of Dracula covers all of my horror stuff. So it's just World of Dracula, Facebook and Instagram. I don't do Twitter because Twitter scares the hell out of me.
Don't blame you, man.
It's intimidating, man. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Before you go, what's your favorite Universal monster of all time?
Frankenstein, right?
Yeah, actually, it is Frankenstein.
Is it really?
Say Dracula, and I do love Dracula. It's fascinating, but just the inner torture of Frankenstein.
Exactly,
and the creature I don't really think is the monster. Victor's the monster.
Plus, Dracula gets all the ladies. You know what I mean? Like, he's got. He's all set. He's all set.
I'm always partial to the creature myself. I don't know. I always like the creature.
He's such a sympathetic, beautiful character. And in Prometheus and Chains, we said it in the post-World War II atomic age. Victor and Elizabeth were two of the Jewish scientists who fled Nazi Germany in 1939, worked on the Manhattan Project. Elizabeth is exposed to high levels of radiation. She develops cancer and passes away, which sends Victor into a spiral of addiction, depression, and an obsession with bringing her back to life. So we look at Victor, instead of him just being an arrogant prick who does it because he can, it's his grief that drives him. And I think we came pretty close to making Victor Frankenstein a sympathetic character. And that's damned hard to do, man, because he's a jerk.
I'm going to check that one out. I'm going to take a look at that. That one sounds awesome. But Rich, it was a pleasure meeting you. And like I said, please do come back once you're ready for volume 2. Reach out to us a couple months ahead, and we'll definitely slot you in for another show appearance.
We'd love to have you back. Yeah,
Definitely, man. Anytime.
Awesome, Rich. Well, have a great night, and best of luck with this campaign.
Nice meeting you.
We're pulling for you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one, Rich.
Good night.
Good night. Awesome, man. You're a cool guy, right?
Yeah.
cool guy, great
yeah,
project, beautiful artwork. I don't normally go for a manga, but that one looks like something that I might want to look into.
Artwork looks great, and like if you get like an artist like Greg Land working on your stuff, I mean, he's doing all the variants for Marvel and DC, so that's huge to have somebody like that on his. I'm sure the other artists are great as well, but holy crap, that's really awesome.
And Amy actually just made a great comment.
Frankenstein and the Incredible Hulk are cut from the same cloth.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to bring it up
because I didn't want the tangent.
As I've said before, both didn't ask to be made. You know what I mean? Like it's created by in a lab.
Well, Stan Lee said he heavily was inspired by Frankenstein when he created the Incredible Hulk, and it's when you watch Frankenstein, you're like, oh my god, he ripped this thing off. Like,
maybe that's
ripped it off.
Maybe that's why I like both characters. I mean, that I just feel that like he was saying, the sympatheticness of the characters. You know what I mean? Like you feel bad for him. He's made of multiple human parts.
It's very teenage angst. Nobody was there. We weren't asked to be born.
Exactly.
Before we bring in our second guest tonight, Johnny, do you have a favorite Universal monster?
I think I would have to agree that Frankenstein's probably one of my more favorite ones, just because he's an abomination of science, and of faith. It's hubris of God, so it does both, right? Which I kind of like. It's like you see good stories. It's like it's either a story of faith or a story of science. This one does both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good stuff. Like I've been enjoying those. Skybound's been putting out like Universal Monster miniseries lately. Like some of them are new stories, and some of them are like the Frankenstein one is actually very cool if you guys are a fan of Frankenstein. So the creator is Michael Walsh. He did the artwork and the story for it. But what he did was he found a story that is happening parallel to the Frankenstein movie.
Oh, cool.
So like his take was like all this stuff is happening outside the camera frame. Peripherally. Like there's a little kid character. You find out that I think it's the hand that they used to put on the Frankenstein monster is this kid's father that had died. So like they do stuff like that. Yeah, it's really good.
That would be a great anthology. The many pieces of Frankenstein's monster, right? And have different creators tell a different story of every part. That's
just to throw a sci-fi aspect to it, like not to bring up Doctor Who again, but a very Frankenstein Doctor Who story is the brain of Morbius. If you look that up, it's a Frankenstein story. It's another abomination. Like it's evil. This evil Time Lord. His brain, his body is dead, but his brain lives, and the mad scientist takes it and puts it into some kind of weird, bizarre monster with like a giant lobster claw, and like it's. You should look it up. It's good.
Love it.
It's good stuff.
Awesome. All right, moving on with the show and the theme of monsters, actually. Sci-fi gone wrong, or sci-fi kind of story. Friend of our show here that's on all the time. Please welcome Tony James to the show. Hey, Tony.
What's up, guys? What's up, fellas?
Hey, how are you?
How you doing, man?
The mustache is back.
Yeah.
I love it. This is actually a very extra special one because every time Tony's on, I'm not here. So this is special. This is special.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, Tony, how do you feel about this year's Yankees?
I just want them to finish over 500. They embarrassed themselves in the World Series, so it's back to the bottom.
Remember we were in the bar during New York Comic Con that time? That
Yeah.
was wild.
Yeah, when they went to the world, when they got the go ahead game to go to the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
wild.
very cool.
I like being a Bostonian, but not really following baseball closely. I felt like a stranger in a strange land.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I need to get out of here? Like, could you?
Yeah. It was pretty epic. Yeah.
It was an,
Before we move
it was
on
an
the
epic,
interview, just
epic
some
night.
great comments about Frankenstein here from everybody. Science and faith. Johnny is spinning poetry.
Well, that's the
Oh, per
basis
usual.
of every story. Is something
Right.
out
Yeah,
of
right.
science or faith, right?
Colin says it's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Yes, das ist gut.
Yeah. And he said you should listen to Iced Earth's Frankenstein song. I haven't heard of that. Have you guys heard of
I
that?
like Iced Earth. Yeah,
And
that's
also
dope ass
Tra-
on cover, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Travis said dibs on the spot in the Frankenstein.
But that's already a
freaking
thing, right? Those
mythology.
guys are already doing that.
Well, I mean, the story was 4 issues and it was just all done as like one story, but I don't see
But
why
was it
not.
the different parts of Frankenstein or no?
He did a couple. He did like
Oh.
the eye and the brain, I think, or
What a
something.
cool story or title that.
Yeah.
Like the different parts of Frankenstein. It's a great
Yeah.
title for.
Yeah, why not? Right. But I digress.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So Tony, what's going on? We haven't seen you in
What's
a
up,
while.
man?
What's new since the last time you've been on? Anything?
Staying out of trouble.
Oh, staying out of trouble. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Trying to keep my inner CM Punk at bay. You know.
Good.
Yeah, you got it,
Good.
man.
But yeah, just been working real hard on Star Noir. We're about halfway through the 3rd book in production. So
Awesome.
yeah, first half is locked, got everything, colors, letters, everything's ready to go. And I am in the process of locking an artist for this Western that I keep teasing about.
Oh, nice. So is that something you're going to work on in between issues of Star Noir?
Yeah, I
Star
think
Noir?
the way it's gonna go, we're gonna ping pong between both series for the short term.
Awesome.
So Tony did send me a few sketches. Was that not a final artist that you sent over to
Oh
me?
no, that's the one that we're
Oh, okay,
yeah.
right on. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say I think the name of the artist is very humorous. I want to wait until we actually lock this artist. So
Sure.
the next time I'm on here to talk about the Western, I think you'll get a kick out of his name.
All
Okay.
right on.
That's a little
Yeah.
tease for the next appearance.
Is
That's
there
great.
like a theme there, like humorous and kick out of? It's like a leg.
Oh no.
Okay.
It was pretty funny. It was like I was talking to Gwen about the artist, and it's like, if I'm doing a Western, it would be pretty funny to work with an artist who has a very perfect name for a Western.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So I
Gwen
hope
said
everything
something?
works out with this artist. It looks pretty good. I mean, very easy to communicate with. The sketches that I sent you, Johnny, that was us kind of workshopping what we wanted the main character to look like.
Oh, cool.
So.
Is your Western comic gonna blend 2 genres the way
Yeah.
Star Noir does?
Yeah, it's how do we kind of fit the sci-fi into this Western setting, because like Star Noir, where I really liked I really liked the 1940s movies, movies like Detour that are just like these idiom machines firing out these 1940s lines. I really liked like the Wild Bunch and Red Dead Redemption. Tombstone was a movie I watched as a kid, like
so
multiple
good.
times. Yeah.
Favorite movie.
Just taking a lot of that, a lot of those tropes, a lot of the character work that are in those things, and trying to, put that Tony James spin on it that you
That's
guys get
awesome.
to see with Star Noir. So
Speaking of
is your artist
Westerns,
Oh, good.
I was gonna say, I just saw that Emilio Estevez is starting to film Young Guns 3. And I was
No,
like, fuck
For
yes.
real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know, right? He's
That's
supposed to start
exciting.
filming in New Mexico or something. I was like, holy shit, yes. He's been talking about making Young Guns 3 for a long time. And I was like, hell yeah. That'd be cool.
I showed Gwen 310 to Yuma, the one that was like a Christian Bale, the remake.
I didn't love that one.
That one's really good.
I didn't like the ending of that.
I mean, I like the sound work of the ending, how like the train engine sort of was like a stand-in for the heartbeat. Not to spoil it what the ending is, but I thought there's some great sound work at the end. And just really well, I was just fooling. I wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
What a great
Val Kilmer in
performance
that
that
movie.
was.
He stole the entire movie. He was.
Oh yeah,
100%.
That
Doc
was it.
Holliday, yeah.
Yeah,
And I gotta say,
love the.
I
little,
love
like,
those old Clint Eastwood like spaghetti westerns so much. They're just such beautiful movies, like The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, and all those Few Dollars More and all that. Those are
it's one of the few instances where you can just have a montage of a guy searching for gold through a cemetery.
Oh my god, I love that scene with the music.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and the music keeps ramping up. So
that
good,
wide like overhead shot.
Yeah,
is kind
I
of
love
what
that
makes
shit.
that scene so well.
So good, man.
Three Amigos. Anybody? Oh,
yeah, some of the things that I do in the Western, we really want the setting. I don't want to spoil what the setting is, but the setting, it really tries to kind of go for like big landscapes. Just
cool.
Really kind of make you feel that you're like out there in the atmosphere, with these cowboys. So yeah,
is your artist for
man.
this Western the same as your Star Noir?
No,
no, he said
different. The artist I'm going to work with is British. I gave him the script for the first book to just kind of read, and he came back with, he said, "This is brilliant stuff. It's brilliant stuff." Which for a Brit, brilliant. That's like top shelf.
Yeah,
like, right. Gwen was telling me that it's right up there with a German. Very good. Very good.
Very good.
I like that you're doing something Western because you don't see a lot of that in comics.
Yeah. I think we were in the comic shop the other day, and Gwen picked up like this big omnibus of East of West. I don't know if you guys.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just sitting there going like, I mean, that's the one to beat, right? That's the top shelf, in kind of the more modern era of comics, like
for a sci-fi / Western. Absolutely, yeah. That's gonna be the one. Have you ever read that? The whole run is amazing.
It's just such a gorgeous book.
Oh my god, yeah, that is top notch. Yeah, you're right. That is a good one. Yeah, I don't know there's nothing right now that I can think of that's Western out there, except for maybe like Gunslinger Spawn, but I don't know if I count that one. But although I just saw
phases.
That. Which one?
It goes in phases, these things, right? So
yeah,
it's like you'll see it
launch
back at some point.
No, what I was gonna say is they did launch another title for Gunslinger Spawn called like Deadly Tales, and it's being written by Jimmy Palmiotti, who, if you like Westerns, he wrote like a really good Jonah Hex run. So I was kind of tempted by that one, but I haven't looked at it yet. So I got too much on my pull list right now, but
I feel like
I could see snagging a trade of that down the road.
I feel like Westerns are they're starting to kind of make a comeback. I think with the superhero genre being a little oversaturated, Westerns have been dormant this entire time, and it's like, all right, well, maybe we try Westerns again. We try to bring those back.
I gotta tell you, some of the best shit I've seen this last year have been Westerns. Horizon was amazing. And we just finished American Primeval on Netflix, and that was great as well. Highly recommend to both of you guys, all you guys, if you
have you seen Hell or High Water? Sort of like a modern Western.
Yeah,
where they rob banks.
Yeah, that's
is that
Chris
the one?
Pine
is that the trailer? Yeah, I've
Taylor
seen that.
Sheridan.
Came out like a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
It was like their modern take on a Western. It was really good. Really awesome.
Well, even No Country for Old Men is to an extent,
Jeff
idea.
Bridges, right, was in Hell or High Water. Yeah, I did see that, and that one's pretty good. Yeah, that was good stuff. I think that was Taylor Sheridan, right, before he started doing Yellowstone and all that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yes.
I highly recommend American Primeval, though, if you guys haven't seen it. It's written by the guy that did The Remnant. The Revenant, or is it Revenant?
Revenant.
With
is that what the what's his name? When he tears open the horse and gets inside of it.
No, the Revenant's the one where he gets attacked by the bear.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio gets attacked.
What a great easy role that must have been for him, because he gets attacked by the bear early on in the movie. And the whole movie, he's like a burrito. He's like, and doesn't move, like grunts the whole time. Like, I could do that,
it's good. I highly recommend it. It's like 6 or 7 episodes, and it's also directed by Peter Berg, who's an awesome director. And Taylor Sheridan, or not Taylor? Yeah, is it Taylor? The guy that
Taylor
played
Sheridan.
What's the guy that played Gambit in the Wolverine movie? He was also John Carter. Taylor, yeah. Which I hated that guy in both of those movies. He's fantastic in American Primeval. He just needed to be in the right role, I think, you know.
Sometimes that's all it takes. The right
that's
role
all it
for the
takes.
right actor,
it's really
right?
good. Really good, like heart, like one of those no bullshit approaches to Western, like Horizon was, where it's like showing you the real shit and not like the, you know, the fake Western world, you know. So good stuff. Recommend both of those highly.
For sure. I gotta
cool. So when are you planning on popping that one out, you think?
The trajectory that I'm on, I'm trying to do a summer Kickstarter.
Okay.
So that Star Noir will always be the fall one. And we'll do like a summer so I can.
So you're gonna try to do 2 books a year, 2 or 3?
Yeah, just 2. I think the second chance stuff I think might kind of go by the wayside. I think I might just be a Kickstarter person. Just because it's tough to manage, like so many like campaigns. Like you finish one and then all of a sudden there's a second chance campaign coming up.
Yeah, well, you do late pledges now. So
now there's late pledges with Kickstarter. So now you can just kind of keep funneling people back in. Although, but I think I did them even still because everyone kind of has their their preference for the platform. Yeah. So it's just kind of good to be available and at least one other crowdfunding space.
Yeah. Not a bad idea, and then you can kind of pop it up over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys follow Nandor's newsletter lately. He was talking about about the late pledges thing and how that could kind of ruin campaigns. Did you guys read that? He had a great.
I think I missed it, but what was the point he was making in it?
He was trying to say how like having the late campaign pledges available is now like ruining, like, why should you be so urgent to back within the first 30 days when you can like just wait it out now? And it's like,
I mean, that's coming from a mentality that he thinks he's going to hit every time, right? So the urgency is that you want to make sure this campaign hits.
That's the thing, though. With Kickstarter, you still have to hit before you get those late pledges.
And Kickstarter recommends for late pledges that you add 10% to kind of incentivize somebody who's interested to get it in before late pledges kick in. So you kind of get like a 10% penalty if you are late pledge. So it tries to incentivize you to still be in the campaign.
I gotcha. So Indiegogo doesn't make you do that, but that's interesting that the
double the price on late pledges.
But one of the things I'd like to see Kickstarter do with late pledges is figure out a way for the algorithm to like offer you projects that are in late pledges, because I feel like what the problem right now is that once your book kind of hits that late pledge stage, after like 48 hours, 72 hours, like the project sort of falls off the face of the earth. And you're kind of really like, by yourself out in the woods with your late pledge campaign. So it'd be nice if Kickstarter could like offer late pledge campaigns to people, or at least like create a section,
at least a tab.
They should create a section,
create a category for
I can see why they don't feature it, because then it's like they're leaving it up to you to kind of
There's probably a lot to go around, right?
It is. Yeah.
So I also think the reason why partly they're doing it is not to extend a campaign, but to give people who are jumping on new campaigns to look at other old projects, and then in turn boosting the creator themselves, right? So you're running your Western campaign, right? I go there, I pledge, it looks really cool. Well, what else does Tony got? Go and I look back at Star Noir. Oh, okay, now I can pledge on Star Noir too. I think that's kind of the idea there, where it's like, you want to give people the opportunity that if you don't have an online store, or if you just want to keep people shopping on the Kickstarter platform, the option's there for you, right?
Yeah. Do they do a similar thing at Indiegogo where you have to have constant sales on that, or are they shut it down,
I think the window is pretty wide though. I think it might be like if you get a pledge once every 3 months, maybe. It'll reset the clock for you.
Gotcha.
So like the in-demand campaigns for books 1 and 2 of Star Noir are still going. I actually just got a pledge for the second Indiegogo like over the weekend that I have to like pack up and ship
That's
out.
awesome. That's good though.
Not
That's
a bad,
good to have
not a bad problem.
Yeah. I think I might leave mine open till till it closes, or if I continue to get like pledges, why not?
Yeah,
might
for
do
sure.
the same thing. Why not? I mean, it's like it's more. I think it's a better option than having a store on your website now, because my store that I have on my website doesn't do shit. Like every once in a blue moon I'll get a pledge, but when I have a crowdfunding, people buy. So I don't know.
Well, when you have an online store, it's just kind of buried unless you promote.
Yeah,
it
right. Unless you
yourself,
post it or whatever.
Yeah, nobody's promoting it for you, right?
There's a lot of noise on the internet, so you have to constantly keep pushing it.
100%, man.
Yeah.
So before we run out of time, I definitely want to look at your campaign again. This is on Indiegogo this time, right? For the Star Noir book 3.
Yeah, second chance. Yep, second chance campaign like the other two.
Did you want to refresh? Give the audience.
Give the elevator
pitch of the whole series and.
Yes. So this is LA Confidential meets the X-Files. It's about a 1940s detective named Alan Miller who teams up with this gray alien to stop a shapeshifter who is killing LAPD officers in Central Station. It's a big 6-part murder mystery. We're on the 3rd book right now. Cops are dying left and right. There's a letter from the killer that's been sent to our main character, and there's some interpersonal conflict going on with our human character and our gray alien character. So very, very spooky, very atmospheric, but also kind of like it commits to the detective genre. There's a lot of casework in this one. I mean, there's casework in the first two, but this one I think it really ratchets up the casework and the danger. We actually get to meet a real life celebrity, Orson Welles, right here. He's actually filming the 1948 film Macbeth. We just finished the inks for the rest of that scene where we get to see the Macbeth set. So we took background. I did a bunch of research on behind the scenes for that movie and gave Pablo, our artist, a bunch of the references. It was interesting to see how he like wove in the different Macbeth sets into the background conversations. So that was pretty awesome. There are now suspects, people to be suspicious of, and it's kind of like a little game of whack-a-mole, a game of which one's the red flag and which one's the actual killer. And then
would it have been too alien-y if Orson Welles was doing War of the Worlds? Would that have been too alien-y or?
Oh yeah, well I think he just wasn't doing that movie at the time.
I think that would have been too on those.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And
this ain't Men in Black. It was a Star Noir.
So yes. Actually, I brought.
I was gonna say you shared some pages.
Yeah, I brought a drive folder with some of the stuff that's not on the campaign that we've been working on in the dark.
Do you want to share your or you want to share?
Oh no, it's in the private chat, Keith.
Oh, is it?
You want to grab them? Yeah, let's a few pages.
Hang on, let me.
And while he's pulling that up, Tony, do you want to just set up these pages for us so that way you can kind of give people some perspective? I mean, you give the elevator pitch, but more specifically, these pages, what are they?
Okay. Well, I mean, let me
just verbally set them up, just like as Keith's pulling it up. What's the what are we going to be looking at here?
So we've got the opening kind of showing. Well, this is a scene here where we get more insight into Detective Ray Foster, who meets an untimely demise in the second book. Get more information as to what the shapeshifter is specifically after. It deepens the mystery as to why these killings are happening and why they're happening in such a way. This is more offering more clues to the reader that they can kind of piece together. We reunite with Stella Belafonte. We see that there's more stuff going on with her. The second page, which I purposely left out, is very spoilery. The shapeshifter has got its eye on her. and we kind of
why
see
not? I mean,
we kind of see how she kind of gets
She's
roped
pretty-
in. Yeah, we see how she gets roped in the next scene. This is Alan and Ellis, meeting with the captain after they read the letter that is teased at the end of the second book. And Alan is becoming suspicious of many people in Central Station, namely the captain, who is like withholding information. And so now you, as the reader, you're gonna start playing the game along with me. And this is showing the illustrating the shapeshifter's letter and showing some of the killings that have happened, but showing it from the shapeshifter's perspective. Stuff that was going on in between while we were hanging out with Alan and Alice in the previous book. So it's a good way to illustrate the letter that was sent to Alan. And you kind of it elevates the stakes more, and it's just a great way to open up the third book.
I love the artwork. It's very like the
really
expression on people's faces are pretty cool. And is this book brighter? Because the colors seem more vibrant. And is that like?
I think it's about the same, right?
They're about the same. I think we tweak little things here and there. The Stella scene, and the morgue scene. Their lighting choices are there's bright lights in both of those moments.
Okay.
So yeah.
Tanner says it looks great. The artist is incredible. Yeah,
amen to that. Yeah.
Yep. Pablo, our artist, and Vinicius, our colorist. They're just amazing. They're experts. I'm in awe every time they send me something. Every time I need like a choice explained, they have like a very thoughtful answer for it.
Don't let Orson near the wine.
Yeah. well, what we the way that we wrote him, it was inspired by I don't know if you ever seen that commercial where Orson is selling like wine and he's like really drunk in it. It's a very popular like YouTube video of like Orson Welles doing outtakes trying to sell a wine and he's like plastered drunk. So we have
there's
like
a few good Orson Welles like audio recordings or videos out there.
Yeah,
like there's one where he's trying to sell peas and he's just pissed.
Yeah,
like snow peas or something like that.
So we built a personality around that for the way that we portray him in Star Noir. So it creates a humorous scene for our characters.
I like that you did the research for like this time period and you're trying to tie it all together. I think that's very smart. Yeah, and it makes the story more grounded and genuine, I guess.
Yeah, just really trying to do you bring a lot of that authenticity. I mean, there's a New York City companion that's supposed to go with Star Noir. And that's so cool. there's a whole heap of I like that. I have 2 giant books of the history of New York City.
That's awesome.
It's gonna find its way to a future Star Noir book.
I finally had a chance to read issue 2 not too long ago, maybe like a month ago. It is really good, and it makes me want to wait till I have all 6 before I sit down and read it, because like I know by the time you get issue like 3 or 4 out, I'm gonna be like, all right, what happened in 1 and 2 again? Like, so I feel like it's gonna be one of those ones that I wait and read it all together or something.
It's like streaming a TV show or a show. You
absolutely, yeah. And I find with comics now, like whenever something's a mini series, I've been doing that. I've been waiting till all of them are out. But sometimes I'll read number 1 just to make sure I like it before I continue buying it,
Litmus test.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And if I do like it, I'll go, and I'll wait and I'll till everything's out. But
now, Tony, are there any particular tiers in this campaign you want to kind of point out?
Did you change anything from?
Did you change anything up or
no, it's the same as Kickstarter. The 6th extinction is the catch-up tier. If you're a new reader and you want to get books 1 through 3. The Blue Dahlia right there. That's for current readers. If you just want to get the third physical book, you've got the first 2 already. This is another print tier that we've done with the previous 2 books, where we take a panel, 2 panels from each one, from the book, and do a print for them.
Oh, cool.
We did a sticker tier. People were really gung ho for that in the Kickstarter, so we kind of reoffered it here on the Indiegogo.
Nice.
This is the digital catch-up tier. If you're a little pressed for your dollar, you could definitely get it digitally, no problem.
This is all 3 issues.
Yeah, it's all 3 issues. Yep.
Okay.
And then this is the physical.
Nice. I like that. Oh, and you get a little bit of a discount if you buy it this way.
Yeah, I got the both of these books here.
Oh, hang on. Let me boost you up. Awesome. Yeah, look at that. 1 and 2. And they're pretty thick too. They're like what, 48 pages or so?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, the third book's gonna be 50.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that, with the amount of time that it takes and all the work that we put into it, I think you just want to have this feeling that when you get it, it's like there's a good meaty chunk of the story there. Oh yeah,
yeah. No, I like
the poster. That. Nice. I got.
What's that?
No.
Johnny,
oh yeah,
the poster. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I got it back there. Oop, back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I
can
admit
that
too.
One,
like,
I also got the variant.
Oh, the black and white. I gotta hang that one
nice.
Up. Yeah,
very cool. Like that.
Black and white. I like that one.
Yeah, I love that one.
Looks like a shot right out of Twilight Zone.
I've been getting fan art too, which is crazy. So I gotta start.
Oh, really? Nice.
Start hanging up that stuff. Yeah,
are you gonna put that in the books?
Put that in the book. I was gonna say compile it all and just put it in a gallery in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's gonna be in the it's gonna be at the end of the third book. People keep sending me stuff. That's great. There was one person who they like drew they drew Ellis, like the gray alien in his alien form, but in the 1940s suit. But he did like an Uncle Sam, like I'm challenging you to solve this murder. And the person that sent it to me was like, your Star Noir actually inspired me to like make my own comics, which I thought was pretty cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Pretty rewarding.
Yeah, it's great when you get like a reader that comes up to you and said, "Hey, this inspired me to do this and this and that." I've had that a couple times. It's really cool. It touches you, Definitely. Yeah. That's awesome, Tony. Yeah, and what I was gonna say earlier was that you do give a nice bite-sized meal with each issue. You know what I mean? Like it is definitely a chapter of the ongoing story, but it feels like it's a nice meaty chapter. So
that comes from me just as a reader. Like when I pick up an issue of something and you feel like, nothing really happened in this issue. I don't really like that feeling. So if I'm in control, you're gonna get a good chunk of the story that you can be I can chew on that for a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it does feel like the chapter of a detective novel, like the next big thing, So like you always feel like something's happening each issue, like you can't miss a part of it, So great stuff, man.
Cool.
Anything else you want to shout out before we wrap this up and go to the next guest? Any other socials you want to shout out? Like where are you?
Well, you can find me on the X. Are we calling it X or Twitter? I have no idea.
I swear I would never call it X, but I find myself been calling it X lately. So it's freaking working.
Yeah, at T/J on Twitter. I'm gonna be a rebel and say Twitter. At Banana Bat on Instagram. That's where I've been trying to use Blue Sky. Nandor sort of turned me on to the Blue Sky.
I am using it a little bit. Like I didn't think I would, but like Amy put created an Indie Comics Relay on there, and we got a little bit of a following already. It's like almost 300 followers and stuff. Wow. So I've been posting a little bit on there, but I haven't been really scrolling through it at all. It's almost more like I just copy and paste what I'm putting on Twitter and put over there kind of thing.
There's no drama, which is nice.
That is cool. Yeah. You got to appreciate that. Not a lot of ads either, which is nice,
Yeah.
So.
The AEW fan base ported over to Blue Sky. So when you're looking at that content on Blue Sky, it's not littered with like WWE fan bots trying to bash the company and every other message. So it's really not, like you said, it's refreshing to be able to read something, look at it. It's not littered with fake accounts. It's not littered with negativity. It's good shit.
It's also a good old timey, 1940s song too. Blue Skies.
Yeah.
We should do another one of those roundtables soon with like Nando.
Yeah, I've been talking to Johnny and Harry about that. I definitely, my idea that I kind of pitched to Johnny, he liked it, and but I was thinking like we do maybe another writing one, have the same people back and stuff. But I was gonna make the questions more fun and goofy.
Okay.
Like, do you like that idea? Like, so I threw him some questions and Johnny liked the sample one. So yeah, we'll do something like that. Maybe like have it a little goofy and make me move quicker, so where you can do like 10 questions or something. I'll schedule something soon. I'll sit down and
the last one was
it did mention
popular.
it to Nandor too, and he said he was all in, and I'm sure George will join us, no problem. So
and if we do decide to do it, we should do like this thing where all the writers get like a prompt at the beginning. And by the end they have to have something together.
Like like what? Like a
whatever
paragraph or something?
Anything. But then the three or whoever gets all those prompts have to be cohesive. Right?
Oh, okay.
You're gonna use the private chat to work together, but also have their individual parts and also participate in the show. So we're really ladling on the pressure, right?
And the hosts are excluded out of this, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're only here to judge and to point. And that's
okay.
It. Mm-hmm.
Giving a bunch of writers a creative writing assignment. That's good. It's right down Main Street.
Talk live at the same time. That's a little crazy.
Well, so it's inspired by George. So when George was doing his one-on-one writer, George Medina, good friend of the show, when he was doing his interview episodes, he would give a prompt.
Yeah, I remember.
And you had to, but he would like let you go and write it and come back and submit it or whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm saying we do it like in the episode. So we really like it's sketch off for writers.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I would almost say to do something like just a paragraph or a couple sentences just to make it easier on the guests.
Or you do like the D&D approach where you just sort of like, this is the character. What's his problem? What's the situation? And then all the other writers keep adding stuff.
Yeah, like in the one writer
have an
picked
idea
it up from there. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I have an idea. It's probably not anything we could use per se.
Okay.
Because it's based on an IP.
Okay.
But it would be perfect to give several writers quick prompts for that they would then have to be creative enough to do something. And then it would also fit in the end altogether. So we can discuss this off.
Yeah,
just a little tease.
Johnny, me and you will talk about it.
We'll talk about it at the end of the show.
And then Tony, I'll definitely put something on the schedule. If you don't hear from me in like a month, bug me again. Like send me a DM. Say, hey, when do you want to do this thing? Yeah. Just to keep it in my mind, so I get easily distracted. So,
right on.
But you're not for a lack of things to do as well, Keith. You're very busy man.
True. That's true.
Very busy man.
But Tony, great to see you.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you on when we do that roundtable thing, and then we'll also have you back when your Western comics ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll talk some Westerns, kid.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. All right, man. We'll have a good one.
Johnny, good to see you. Harry. Good to see you, man.
See you, Tony. Have a good one, man.
All right,
we'll
take
talk
care.
soon.
Bye.
All right. Later.
Good luck.
The great Tony James, everybody.
Tony James.
Tony James
Kind of
left
like
the building.
I love your idea.
Like whose line
Johnny,
is it anyway?
Let's talk. We'll definitely
we'll talk about it. I have
Harry,
a good
what
idea.
are we gonna say before we bring in the next?
No, reminds me of like whose line is it anyway? For writers, like you give
them
an idea
kinda. Yeah, definitely like that. I used to do that with comics. Did I ever tell you that? Like me and my buddies, we didn't go very far, but like I did like 2 pages, then I would hand it to my friend. He would do 2 more pages, and so on and so forth. We were trying to do like a Phantasm story, like continuing from like where Phantasm 2 left off and like going further. So it was a lot of fun. We maybe got like 6 or 7 pages done out of the whole thing. It was pretty fun.
I kind of did that with art actually. I would draw a few lines and I would give it to my friend, and then like you give it to somebody else.
Continue it.
Yeah. So it's all
a fun game.
It's all creative.
Absolutely.
But it goes to show the talents in people. I'd be very curious to see the people who participate and their replies and the quality of their replies in such a short period of time. I think this is one of the
private
things
chat, and then we would
or
read
maybe
it after.
you can somehow have it be anonymous, so you don't know who wrote what.
Oh, yeah, that could be cool too.
Well, I don't
yeah.
know if you can do that in the private chat because you could see who's dropping the message.
The audience wouldn't know, but we would,
We
right?
would,
So
yeah.
we could technically do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland said, "Isn't that basically how Laird and Eastman created the TMT?" I think so. Like they took turns doing the issues. I think from what I read, or one would draw.
I didn't know that, but that
you never knew
sense,
that. Yeah, it would whoever they had the similar styles or something, or you could kind of tell who was who. It's interesting history there. But anyways, our third guest is in the green room right now. New guest to the show. I think he bills himself as C. Clyde, but we'll see if he gives us the full name or whatever. So without further ado, let's bring in tonight's third guest, C. Clyde. Hey, so should we just call you C?
Just Clyde. Just Clyde.
Just Clyde.
Just Clyde. Okay.
Just Clyde.
That makes
like Cher or Madonna. It's just Clyde. There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
What's up, man? Thanks for
Nice
coming
to
on
meet
the
you all.
show.
Yeah.
We appreciate you
thanks for coming on,
this
man.
late. And
Yeah.
whenever we have
no worries at all.
guests, we try to have try to stagger it out so everyone gets a half hour basically to tell their stuff.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, Tony, he's got a hell of a book, so it was nice to follow with that.
Yeah. Do you know Tony? Have you met him before?
I've seen his work, especially on Reddit. He promotes his books really well. So, kudos to him. I think that he does a really good job on both sides of it, both running the Kickstarter as well as just putting together a great book. So, just an admirer from afar. Calling me a fan.
Right on.
That's great. He'll be happy to hear that. So Clyde, being your first time on our show, we always ask, we love to know the origin of creators and how they kind of found their way to comics. Is there an origin point you can point to in your past that a comic that inspired you to be part of this industry? Or
so I think I first got into comics when I was kiddo, like everyone else, right? But I had a really good friend of my dad's, he was basically like an uncle to me, and he had just massive boxes full of X-Men comics. So actually Age of Apocalypse, the OG one, that was also kind of
our first guest had the same exact origin. It's crazy.
I heard that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But also he had the Deadpool run from Joe Kelly.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
the best.
Definitive
best
run. Definitive run.
Definitive run. Wholeheartedly agree. So that stuff, I mean, it got me hooked. And all throughout high school, I was I lived in a small town. So I couldn't just run over to the local comic shop, but I was Mile High Comics, send them all to my house. And it got to become this incredibly expensive pull list. Eventually had to kind of slow down, especially going into college. And I don't know. I just never stopped. I kind of eventually started gravitating towards more image books and things that were a little bit more, in the indie scene, a little less superheroes. But I've always loved the medium. And it was always an interest to eventually make my own. So
that's awesome, man. I agree with you too. There's always those phases everybody goes through with their reading habits. It's kind of, start with superheroes, then you find indie, then you go back to superheroes, then you flip from Marvel to DC and then back again. It's it's all over the place.
Even Rich was talking about how it was he discovered Sandman, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's you get to a point where it's you've graduated in your comic intellectualness when you find a Vertigo title. Doesn't matter which one. It's you find a Vertigo title, it's oh, now you've taken that next step into comics, right? And then you find, oh, Neil Gaiman's the shit. And then you're oh, wait a minute, fucking Alan Moore's the shit. You know what I mean?
True,
and then that's the path, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And so when did you? It looked like you had made a few comics. When did you make your first comic?
So it was actually 2022 was my first. It was It's called Processing, and I actually just today I finished up issue number 3. I do like the writing and the art for it. I think that while the writing is a lot easier, it comes a lot more naturally. It's like, I think it is good to kind of have experience with both. And as a like graphic designer with day job, I kind of like sort of understood the mechanics of like putting it all together. So that was my first book back in 2022. So it was also something that was definitely more in like the indie space, like a more existential dark comedy. It focuses on this question of like, what if all afterlives exist? So like, everything from like heaven to like, Buddhism, hell,
like
everything
purgatory,
exists.
everything.
Purgatory. Yeah. And this place, it revolves around the character of Clyde. So it's kind of like autobiographical, but he goes into this place called the processing department, which exists for people that didn't believe in anything in life, because so many people didn't believe in anything. This was kind of like a holding space for those people to potentially like find karmic bliss, like find eternal bliss now that their logical brains failed them in life. So it's that was my first book, and I'm still kind of it's a bit of a passion project.
Great idea, man. It's really kind of heady stuff, which is cool.
Oh,
but
thanks.
like it's like it's an original idea too, which I really appreciate. It's really cool. I'll have to check out that one out. The one that you're going to be funding, or I think is it live now yet, or
it is going live.
You're also
launch pages. Yeah.
You're also looking to gain more followers on it, and it looks like it's called Steppers, and it looks like it's before I show it, it looks like you're kind of taking the piss out of like Disney or something in this one. Is that what we're kind of doing?
It kind of reminds me of the Animaniacs, kind of like that.
A little bit, yeah. But like, I'm curious about
maybe a little darker than the Animaniacs.
Well,
yeah. Like, what's the premise on Steppers?
Yeah, so as I'm sure plenty of you guys were seeing all of the horror stuff that was being announced when Mickey hit public domain. There was this like Mickey Mouse in particular was always like really interesting. Not like the character's just kind of whatever. But like him as this sort of like corporate icon, I find fascinating. Especially like as an artist, it's like Disney managed to like extend copyright law by like, multiple decades just to keep Steamboat Willie out of public domain. And so like I was kind of thinking about that, and I had this idea of like do you know like Che Guevara, the like revolutionary freedom fighter?
Yeah, I mean I don't know much about his story. I know who he is, but like
another t-shirt and the
flag.
Totally.
Yeah, that's almost where I'm at. Actually,
I got that Rage Against the Machine.
I just didn't want to sound stupid, so I just kind
of
I heard a little bit about it, Like,
well, so he helped. Like he helped overthrow like the Cuban government, and then he like tried to help with a coup in Bolivia, and he got killed, and so he became this martyr, this like symbol for the revolution.
Okay.
And nowadays, Johnny mentioned, like you see his face on t-shirts like all over, and it's like a mass-produced product, right?
He's almost like Mickey Mouse in some ways if you look at it like
that.
Right.
And so I was like thinking about this idea like with Mickey, like what if like Che Guevara was alive today to actually like see these like $10 t-shirts with his face on it.
Yeah.
Right. like what is like the type of rage that he would experience, because like nowadays we're in this sort of like late stage capitalism that is like so pissed. Far beyond. Yeah, I mean, like everything that he stood for is like, it's just so far removed from that. So, so with Steppers, it explores this concept through like Mickey, where Mickey is actually this revolutionary freedom fighter that's been in prison. He's just been released from prison, finally, right? And he finds out that there's this like major media company that has taken his likeness and has like published it and warped it into something else entirely. So
Gotcha.
he is like, probably not happy about that. So we sort of like explore this like idea of like, what does it even mean to kind of like what does political resistance look like against these sorts of like mega media conglomerates that have so much control over like not just like the messaging that we hear, but also like the art that we consume, right? So
it's a fascinating thought, because I feel like that idea, Clyde, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there, by the way.
No worries. Yeah.
I was going to say that thought, like, I think of something very similar every so often by saying, like, how would Elvis react if he was alive today? How would Kurt Cobain react?
Yeah.
I'm saying that because he was very afraid of like nobody remembering him after he died. It's like, I wonder if he was always afraid of that. I wonder if people will remember me. Like, and now we talk about like Elvis impersonators and like Elvis is like.
But if he never died, would it have gotten to that point? Right. So could he have just faded off into obscurity if he never died? Or because he died, it elevated him to something that much more. And then again, even to the point of Kurt Cobain, like, he killed himself, but if he was still alive, would he still be making music? Would it be the same? Would he have sold out? Would it, all these things.
What if they went through like a Kanye West arc and they like went crazy, in the second half of their career?
Yeah.
But I think sorry, go on,
sorry.
Harry.
No, you're having more.
I was just gonna say, well, you have a really heady idea here, and I love that you're exploring that, and you're kind of taking the, Mickey Mouse of all characters, like you said, a corporate icon, akin to Ronald McDonald, and then kind of exploring that here. I love the concept.
It's been a lot of fun. We're definitely approaching it like it's a very serious, like. A lot of very serious subjects and it's a very serious tone to the book. Something akin to like
it's very
like maybe like Sin City. But yeah, like it's Mickey Mouse and fucking cartoon characters. So like
very
I like Sin City. That's a great example, I think.
To use adult language here.
Oh, sorry.
No.
It's a very adult book to
right.
to the viewers. Yeah.
Now, I always get in trouble for asking these kind of questions, but so don't answer it. I just want to know vaguely: do we find out how Mickey why he was in prison in the first place?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's it.
Yes. So like we were starting like I've got a co-writer on this, so Henry. Who actually, I think he just finally managed to get away if he's allowed to join at this point. If not, that's cool.
Is he?
Yeah, bring him in if he's available.
Bring him in if you, and I'll see him in the green room when he pops up.
Yeah, shoot him a link. That'll be fun.
Okay,
Surprise guest, everybody. I love this.
Yeah. Let me pop out of this for a second so that if he does come in, we can see him a little more clearly.
But to continue your thought, just so we're not breaking momentum here.
Yeah. So we definitely like at first we were just going to approach this with like different vignettes that were kind of like exploring different aspects of like capitalism and how it's kind of screwing us, and like approaching sort of these like systemic problems that we see. But eventually we started to kind of like build an actual narrative around it. And we've got like 12 chapters here, and some of them are set in the past and some of them are set in the future. We actually have like the first 5 chapters of the book are already released. And so with that, we have like a couple of them that are actually set in the past, like one of them showing when Mickey's a child, a very dark origin that was honestly very hard to draw. But I think making art is like a pretty emotional process.
Yeah.
So, like it also was like, wow, this is
the kind of story you tell. I could see being emotionally draining,
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Yeah. I think that there is a degree of catharsis to it as well, though, because it's like, it is really hard to make it as an artist, right? And it's really hard to like make it in any sort of like creative medium And so like I think some of that like frustration is definitely like being put into the paper in both the writing and the art. So
now the name Steppers, is there some kind of meaning there with the like as you read the book, will you understand what that means, I guess?
Yes, actually, like chapter 6 in particular, which is like that's the one I'm actually in the middle of drawing. It's it really kind of dives into like what this term means, and you know, and mild spoilers, but it's just kind of this idea of like people that are just kind of like marching along to the beat of the drum and like not really thinking or like challenging the status quo in any sort of
kind of like
way.
like when people say Joe Six-Pack or something, like they're kind of referring to
company man.
Very
like generalized.
A stepper.
Yeah,
like get out of here, you stepper.
You're just like a cog in the machine. You're a stepper.
Like a sheep.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. So that's cool. I like that. I think Henry's here. I don't know if he's on camera, but I think let me try bringing him in here.
And
Henry,
I also like Roland's comment while we're on it.
Oh yeah, Chris's reaction to the commodification of likeness and message would be like, "Okay, I can't even say that. I'm not."
Well, if you needed translations, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, is it mindless drones? Yeah, absolutely. That's what.
Absolutely.
That's definitely what we're.
Speaking of drones, this kind of reminds me. I don't know why, but I just watched a movie on. I just streamed it, The Electric State.
I just watched that too.
Is it good? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I liked it. It's pretty cool, but it kind of
made me very mad.
It kind of reminds me of this kind of. I'm not sure because like it's like.
Oh, Johnny, I got to hear about that after.
Yeah,
it made you mad. Okay.
All right.
Mad at myself
for watching it.
For watching it?
No, just mad at myself because it's Clark and 5. It's the story that I want to tell.
Oh no!
It's to a T. It's I watched it. Now I don't want to make that story.
Well, you can do your own.
Yeah. I know I know, but it's so goddamn close to my idea that I don't want to make it anymore. And that's why I'm mad about it. Sorry, didn't mean to break the interview, guys, but
yeah, sorry.
So go on. Anyways,
we'll talk about that after. Henry, you there? Henry, are you there?
Oh, Henry?
I don't know if he's there.
Henry, you there?
Oh, can you hear me? Or
there you
can you hear me?
Yeah, Henry, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, okay, nice.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
connection.
Perfect. Welcome to Indie Comics Relay.
He is about 7,000 miles away from us. He's in Taiwan at the moment. So.
Oh no shit! Wow!
Holy smokes!
So a little out there.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's why I have one of my very best friends lives in Taiwan. His name is Brendan Waldsmith. He's a teacher, and he races RC trucks.
Oh, nice.
Right on.
Fun fact.
Awesome. So now you guys, co-wrote this book together? Is that
Henry? I'm gonna let you.
Yeah. We're both writing it. He's doing all the illustration, but we're writing it together and kind of conceptually came up with the idea together.
Oh, cool. Like, how do you guys handle scripting? Do you guys does someone write the spine of it and then you kind of pass it back and forth? Is that how it goes, or?
So we've been kind of spending a little bit of time, doing an overall outline. You know, these are sort of the major emotional beats that we need to make sure are in there, and then we can kind of break it down into individual strips, and then each of us will just kind of go back and forth on taking the lead on a script. So
gotcha. That's awesome. I mean, I've never done that. We used to do a web show where we would do multiple writers, but as far as a comic goes, I've never really co-written anything with anybody. So that's kind of cool to see how you guys work.
Yeah, I mean, Henry's my bestie, so it's it works out. Go for it, Henry.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we were basically going to say the same thing. I a a lot of the like notes have to do with the art actually, and then like kind of the bulk of the writing actually comes around the art, I find. And so like we're just thinking about the format more than anything, and then that like kind of allows us to that guides the writing.
Gotcha.
Now I was going to ask, have you guys come into conflict, and how do you guys resolve it? Who wins the battle?
It's a great question, Johnny.
Honestly, like I feel like we're very much like on the same page with a lot of this stuff. The amount of times where like Henry and I have just like complained about capitalism and like, had these conversations, just a lot of philosophical discussion around this stuff already. Going into it, like when I first like approached Henry and was like, hey, do you want to maybe do this book together? It was like, it already felt like it would kind of write itself. Like we wouldn't have too much conflict there. I would say that the only bits of conflict would be like, Henry, what the fuck? Drawing that's going to take like, 10 hours. Can we find another way to kind of like handle this panel, So
Henry, rebuttal?
I mean, I'm always trying to be like like I'm trying to be considerate of that kind of stuff. Like I'm always like super self-conscious when it comes to that stuff, where I'm like, is this too crazy? Like, is this idea too crazy?
But it's good though, because you guys rein each other in, I think, then at that point, right? You guys fill in the kind of the creative gaps in each other's storytelling, whether it be artistically or through written word, right?
Yeah, and I think it's like a confidence thing too, where it's like, sometimes if I'm writing alone, I'm like, is this good or is this just like terrible, And so like I can give it to him and he can tell me straight up like, oh, this is terrible. All right.
But Clyde, how many times is it actually really terrible though?
It's never terrible. Yeah. See, like I really wish it was like one of these times. Like I wish it was just like absolute dog shit. So I could just be like, dude, what are you? But it just never actually is. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I've always said, and I advocate that if you're talented and blessed with creativity, that you also carry self-doubt and anxiety on your shoulders. So it goes to show, Henry, it's like, you're like, oh, is this bad? And all it takes is just a good creative friend to be like, no, man, you're on the right track.
So I had a question too about, you guys produced a few chapters of this already. Did you guys release those anywhere, or is it like?
Yes, we did. Actually, you can read all of it on my Substack. Like all 5 of those chapters are available to read. Awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, like we're just trying to get the story out there.
Okay.
A big piece of this Kickstarter is like, we'd love to have an actual print edition of the book. I think that like not trying to be too pretentious, but like the form absolutely matters, right? Like we definitely try to think about like formalism a little bit in terms of like how we're presenting this thing. And so having the page turns, having the ability to like hold this thing in your hands, I think is like, it's critical to that experience. So, we definitely want to see this thing on bookshelves one day, but in the meantime, like we're not really super concerned about like monetizing it online. Like if people want to read it, like be my guest, like we care more about that than
Gotcha.
So this might be a silly question, but you won't ever have Mickey Mouse's head on. You won't ever have Mickey Mouse's head on a T-shirt, would you? Is that too silly?
Oh no, we absolutely will. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I can totally see that.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the Kickstarter items is like the T-shirt, which is kind of like this recreation of the Che Guevara shirt, but with Mickey.
Exactly.
So that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. And looks like we got you another follower on the campaign, so that's good. I saw it.
Appreciate that.
How big is the first book going to be? How many pages you think?
Yeah,
170. Right, just right here. Oh, and you're doing the small format, like the manga size.
Yeah, more digest size. I think that
digest size. Yeah, that's cool. I bet that'll be great in a digest size. Yeah, this looks good, guys. I like the idea a lot. I love that you're doing this. And I've seen like those kind of stories before where Mickey is like this, idol, or you know what I mean? Like, I've seen these corporate kind of storylines, but I like this take on it. Like, I really do. Like, I think this is gonna be really interesting to see unfold,
Disney set in the world of Succession.
Yeah,
like something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I love this page right here. That's
great right there.
Yeah, really good
page.
stuff.
That would make a great print.
It would.
Right there. Like I would frame that on my wall. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that is one of the prints.
There you go.
We'll have for the Kickstarter.
I like that you went black and white too, like like the old Steamboat Willie cartoon. I think that's great.
Yeah,
yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, thank you. It's coming along. We're almost finished with the script. We're about like 10 chapters in. So we have ideas for like future arcs and whatnot, but we'll see where it goes. This is
you kind of just want to get the groundwork out and get the actual book made, right? And then kind of look at it after that.
Yeah, we definitely I think that like we struggle with this a little bit internally, like if just how like niche of a book this is. I think that there's sort of like this like splashiness to the fact that it's like Mickey Mouse and like public domain and all that. But then we like take this and we make it about like, this sort of like protest art that is a little bit more heady. So I don't know. I'm just not really, we're not entirely sure like just how large of an audience we have for it. I guess we'll see. I will say that we had this idea long before Luigi did his thing. So like it is very much like kind of directly in that vein of, like how do people sort of like protest against some of these like systems that cause harm to people every day, but like they do it legally. And so like, what do you do to sort of like actually combat that? So
yeah, like and your book kind of questions that and like takes a look at it from using this incredibly popular icon, so like I love
it's
that.
Very punk rock, and it seems like a manual for civil disobedience, and I love every shred of it.
How much of a funding goal are you guys going to be funding for, you think?
We haven't landed on an exact target, but somewhere in the 10K range I think is where we're at. So
yeah, it's going to be go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to ask, is there any particular tier that you want to show off or tease, something that you can kind of leave the audience with for when the campaign does launch?
Sorry about the dog.
Yeah, no worries. What's your dog's name?
Dogs there.
Shut the dog out.
So that's Sesame.
Sesame.
Well, honestly, that she was speaking because the Kickstarter backer like pledge that I wanted to shout out was actually like pet portraits.
So like, that's a cool idea.
So kind of like in the style of like Steppers, like get your pet drawn into the book as well, so like I guess I've always found it kind of funny, like the sort of like when you talk to like successful artists, they're like, oh yeah, pet portraits, like I clean up with that, but it is sort of this like really like vanilla generic thing that they kind of have to do to pay the bills. So what better way to kind of like take that as well and just try to like incorporate it into our book.
The tier in and of itself is a social commentary. I love it.
Yeah. That's great.
I love that.
Well, gentlemen, I wish you the best of luck with this campaign. When are you guys planning on launching it?
So April shit. Let me. April 18th.
Oh,
okay.
April 18th.
I would say try. You're at 65 followers.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get that up to closer to 100, I think you'll have a greater chance at having a better start with Kickstarter, because that's the hugest thing you got to do with Kickstarter is like try to get like the biggest bump you can in the first 48 hours to kind of have that momentum, you know.
But it all looks so intriguing anyway, though. I don't think you guys will have a hard time hitting this goal. I mean, it really looks like a fun, interesting, thought-provoking book, you know?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Johnny, and I appreciate the feedback, Keith. I think it's definitely something like that is our goal before we launch. Is like honestly, we just haven't been outside. Like we're outside now. We're promoting the thing. Like we gotta actually start talking about it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we appreciate you guys having us on and
absolutely.
just talking comics and you know, it's
thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, no
definitely.
problem.
Thanks for taking the time.
And have you guys met before? You and Henry in person, or?
Oh yeah, I was out there in Taiwan for 5 months last year. So I came back. I'm here in Colorado now, but
yeah.
Damn dog.
Yeah. We love Sesame.
We love you, Sesame.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say, if you guys have any social media that you want to shout out as well before we wrap up this segment, I would say go for it, you know.
Just the Substack, created by Clyde.substack.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually read all of Processing there. I'm about to start releasing like some more pages for that one, and then also like Steppers, the first 5 chapters, you can read all of it there. So
cool.
Yeah, and I think you put the link in the landing page, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so you can get the link for his Substack right there on the landing page. I'd say check that out and follow the Substack, you know, so you can get on the mailing list and get new updates from Clyde and Henry. Henry, did you have any social media you wanted to shout out as well, or?
I think for the Steppers stuff, just created by Clyde at Substack.
Okay.
I think that's like my primary focus right now is just like getting people reading story, getting people hyped about it.
Yeah, awesome. And get on that social media and start spamming people, I'd say, you know. Let people know that you exist. And I'd say take a minute to go through Kickstarter, see if you can find some campaigns that have a similar kind of style, maybe not style, but similar kind of story, or, you know, somewhere where you can kind of, you know, maybe reach out to them and see if you guys can cross promote and things like that. You know, that's the way to make Kickstarter work for you, is to think of it as a community as well. Like that's what you did, Johnny, too, right? A little bit of that with yours.
Yeah. So what I did was I made sure that I was backing quite a few campaigns prior to launching, so that way it kind of feeds back in. You know, you are working with an algorithm after all, so it's a little bit about gaming the system. But again, I mean, I'm so psyched about the concept. I think a lot of you are probably going to touch a lot of people the same way when the book launches, where they'll see it, they'll see the concept, they'll see the idea, and it's also appealing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Put a lot of tags and stuff too, like tag Steamboat Willie and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Or, you know, definitely do that, because like people are looking for that kind of stuff, you know. And I think you guys, like I said, have a unique take on it. So I wish you guys the best of luck. And
Thank you for
everybody out
taking
there
the time.
watching, the link is in the chat. And if you're watching tomorrow, and it's in the description of the video, just click it, hit notify, so you can become part of their letter. You know, you get notified when the campaign goes live, and help these guys out. It looks like a great story. So, all right, Clyde, Henry, thank you guys for joining us, and come back again. You know, when you guys are ready to do book 2 or something, you know, give us a shout out.
We'd be happy to have you back, guys.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Johnny, very appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and
Thanks,
good
guys.
luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Yep.
All right. Later, guys.
See ya.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really tight.
Real cool book.
guests.
I love that idea.
And one thing I learned tonight, I think everyone loves the X-Men. X-Men Age of Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, I did not like that when that came out.
I was not a fan either.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I liked it when it began. Like I was like, oh, this is a great concept, but then I kind of fell out of it, So
I thought the art. I didn't like the art of it. I don't like the way the characters looked, the redesigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like they were just trying to make them look too cool for their own good.
Right.
And it was just like I was like, this is lame. So that's kind of where I was out on it. But
and that was like getting towards the end of Chris, or is that after Chris Claremont's stuff, or I can't remember. Or was he the?
I think he may have done a few of those.
It was towards the end, right? Like towards the end of Chris Claremont, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great stuff tonight. All three guests had some really cool stuff.
3 different books, 3 different.
No. I kind of like these fast, like half-hour interviews, though. They go quick, and you got to kind of stay focused on campaign. And I don't know, what'd you think? What'd you guys think?
I like it. The only thing I noticed is that, like, so for example, Dr. Mask had to dip out because it was getting late, right? So maybe we are better off doing shorter episodes.
Yeah, try to stay within like with a 90-minute kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I don't want to stay live too much longer, but I do want to talk about IC3 real quick,
for sure.
And then Johnny's staying for the electric state.
Well, I really gave the definitive answers that it's too much like my concept. So, like for example, the Chris Pratt's character and his robot buddy are the grown-up adult versions of my characters I haven't written about yet. So in doing so, it's so close to my idea that I just no longer want to do that idea.
That sucks. Is there any like elements you can take from it to put it other places?
There's a lot of variables already with the two concepts. Like my buddy Rick was trying to say, like, no, you could still do it. Like it's very different, but a lot of it's also very close. So to the points that are very close, it's like, I either have to wait 10 years more, or to put some distance between it. Now,
what if the robot changes into something else, like a monster, or
no, so because the whole thing's about AI and technology, so
I gotcha. Now I'm more curious to watch that movie.
That's the only reason why I watched it because it looks so much like my concept. So,
you liked it, Harry?
You liked it, Harry?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I liked it. I like the, the robots and the villain. What's his name? The guy from games.
Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. He's pretty cool. I've seen him in everything. Like he's been.
Hang on. What is that? What is Johnny showing?
This is the book that it's based on.
Oh, okay.
The Electric State.
Is that a comic?
It's kind of like an art book with like some novelization in it. So like you get like a piece of art, and then it describes the world and the environment in which it takes place, and it's really this like technological apocalypse, and it deals a lot with the way humanity succumbs to technology and the way technology wants to be represented as independence. Like all these robots, they are in servitude, and then in turn they want to they want their independence from a life of serving man.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and then it kind of focuses on this character and her little robot friend.
Okay.
And that's, my concept was called Clark and Five. And that's Clark and Five right there in a way.
Oh, man.
That sucks.
That is the worst.
It is the worst. So, but one of those things. And also, so as I'm watching it, I'm getting these feelings like, wow, I'm mad at myself because I didn't write the story sooner. But I'm also
if you had it, I know you could have. You would have predated the movie or whatever, or the story. I mean, did your story come before that book even, or?
Oh well, no. That idea
for
years I've been trying to make that. It false started a while ago with an artist that we just couldn't get on the same page in the end.
And then she held up the project for
a little bit.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah. She released it to me finally, like a year or two ago, but. I still I never got around to it because it was just like I worked on other things and I just wanted the story to feel right. Like the more time went by as a creator, the more I realized you have to feel in here when the story's right to be told, right? And then in this case,
Johnny,
somebody just
I
beat
would
me to it.
I would sue them anyway, just to see what
I'd
happens.
sue them anyway.
see what happens.
Roland said Claremont got kicked off in 91 and Age of Apocalypse was 96. So we were right. Like, I didn't think that was Claremont.
Yeah. I
Didn't
think
feel
he
like
wrote
it anyways.
things that set it up.
He might have wrote like tie-ins maybe or something,
but
or
not
maybe,
like, exactly.
But yeah. So back to
speaking of burgers.
Yeah.
Tanner says, forget those Russo brothers, do it anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Or is it? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like wait some time out, Johnny, and you might be able. You might have a more unique take now. You could like kind of look at what they did and try to figure something else out too.
The idea is almost 20 years old already. So
yeah. Or you can take elements and repurpose it into another project, I think,
Yeah, for sure.
There's always that for sure. But anyways, I wanted to talk, speaking of Tanner in the chat, talking a little bit about IC3. I did a wrap-up video last week on the channel where I talked about how great of a show it was and what I liked about it and different things. And I just haven't talked to you, Johnny, since we left. Since I left that night, in disgust that I couldn't have my pizza.
So that's the funny thing. Here's a little button-up story to that. So as Keith was saying earlier, on the Saturday of the show, Keith and Amy were leaving, but we wanted to try to at least grab dinner together on the way out. So we were trying to go to one of the top 3 well-known pizza joints in the area for New Haven. So that's either Pepe's, Sally's, or Modern.
Yeah.
Well, Modern was packed. The guy says, we don't give out wait times.
Yeah.
Who does
We were
that?
like, it was already like 6 o'clock and we had a 2-hour ride. So we were like, we don't want to, we just want to go somewhere, eat, and then leave. We didn't want to be there longer than like a half hour,
Yeah. So to that point, we parted our separate ways. And I was like, well, I need to go find a bite to eat.
Yeah.
So I went to the hotel and I parked the car. And I got all my shit settled, and then I left and walked around the corner. And as I was walking, I actually started running into people from the show who were doing exactly the same thing, looking for a bite to eat. So we went right around the corner to this hot chicken joint, and that's where the majority of the people were. We saw Dean there. We saw Tony McMillan there. We saw a lot of people there. Yeah. So as we're waiting in line, we're chit-chatting about the show, the food, all this stuff. And then we find out that it was a 30-minute wait for a chicken sandwich. So we're like, that's a little bit too much. So I walked a little bit further back behind the hotel, and I saw this little pizza house, and the only thing on the sign was Brick House.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual name of the place was, but it was me and it was Mike, I believe. And we were walking, and we saw that in front of this place, there's stacks and stacks and stacks and quarts and quarts and quarts of wood.
Okay.
So we knew it was a genuine wood-fired pizza place, right?
Okay.
Not unlike what you'd see at these Pepe's and these Sally's. But this place specifically was empty. It wasn't packed like those other places, because it's all just kind of word of mouth Travel Channel shit.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it differentiates. And this is why I was excited, and damn, I wish we just went there to begin with and we knew about it.
Okay.
It's Pepe's Pizza, which is a very specific New Haven wood-fired style that's also quite Neapolitan. It's a lot like a Neapolitan style pizza.
Okay.
But the slices were the size of New York slices.
Oh, cool.
So they were huge, but Neapolitan style. So you still had to fold it and eat it.
Okay.
But it was amazing. It was so good.
Okay.
It was one of the best slices of pizza I've had.
Well, next year,
right?
Maybe we'll hit that place.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like I said, it was a hidden gem. Nobody really knew about it. Locals knew about it. I saw a lot of locals when I was there, but I didn't see people from the show. And I was like, oh, this is a hidden gem. Very small on the inside. So if you go there, you got to make sure you go at the right
Let's just
time.
edit this part out of the video so they won't know about that place.
Well, we don't even have the name, and they'd have to know. They'd have to literally Google streets around the corner from the hotel to look for it. But to that point, like there's not. Yeah, if you have to ask, you can't wait. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, to that point, awesome slice of pizza. I think I even have a photo of it, but
I saw it on your Instagram, and I was gonna ask where you went eventually that night.
Yeah, just by luck, we ended up going to this place, and it was just really good. It was just
actually
awesome,
while we're talking, I'm gonna pull
up
your. Yeah,
so if you look at the bottle,
Instagram.
yeah, if you look at the bottle of soda,
that's
relative in size, so you can see what it was like.
Yeah, quarter of a pizza, right? Or
legit, straight up.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, let me see if I can find Johnny's Instagram here.
And another fun little image from IC3 and Tony McMillan.
Actually, let me pop it up here. So here's your Instagram.
Oh,
and this was me, George, and Dean Haspel from the show. He was such a great guy. Really, really
well,
nice.
We didn't recognize him when he came into
and then I was like, is that Dean Haspel? After I was like, and it was like, yeah, that was one of you guys. I think George knew, right?
George knew, yeah, because he had seen him at a prior show.
And such a nice guy, genuine, down to earth,
real cool guy. Yeah,
I reached out to him by email yesterday to see if we could talk further about having him and Whitney come down to Plastic City Comic-Con. So hopefully,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I think they'd be great guests.
Yeah, so. I know you and Amy got to hang out a lot with them at the drink and draw. The both of them that night.
We talked to him a lot, and it was really good. And
I was outside burning one with Brandon.
And this is a picture of
that's the sandwich right there,
which is in the video. I'll play the video after we
no, this place that invented the first burger.
Yeah, Johnny, you want it? Well, actually, we can watch the video.
It's in the video. It's in the video.
Johnny,
right?
Johnny talks about it in the video. Like,
I call it a shitty burger beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually at the closing of the video. I was like, oh, I dragged these two guys up for a shitty burger. I didn't know it was going to be a good burger. I said that beforehand. So
objectively, I take it back. Though, you look at this picture and it looks like a shitty burger.
Yeah, exactly. The burger doesn't sell it very well. The picture doesn't sell the burger very, very well. In that regard.
One thing we didn't talk about in the video, Johnny, that if you want to mention, like the way they cook it is wild. Like it's
so they have this very old style oven that's like a cast iron oven that has like sideways mail slots. And what they do is they take the burger patty, they press it in an iron press, and then sideways they insert it into the oven. And what it does is it drips and cooks and the caramelizes the onion. So you get a nice juicy burger, but it's not like messy. It's lightly juicy because a lot of it's kind of dripped out already. So it's real good burger.
So out of all the burgers you guys have had, this is like, how does it compare? Is it like up there, or is it
tough? Because this
I don't know if it was the best one I've ever had. It was different. Yeah, like Johnny said, it was different. It wasn't bad. I ate every bit of it, so I liked it.
It was super. It was rarer than I'd normally order a burger, but I think because of the typical cooking method,
the way they cook it,
it wasn't bad because it was like it wasn't like bleeding all over the place. It was, it was drip dry, but it was red.
Amy says they
cook it. Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. You can't zoom in on the bread, but Amy makes a good point. The bread had blood soaked into it.
Yeah, you can see it right here.
So if you're like me,
it looks very crusty and like hard almost to bite into, like a
little bit, but it wasn't.
The roof of my mouth.
Yeah, you'd think that, but it wasn't. It melts,
really
melts real nice. Yeah. It tastes a lot. So this is the Mike. I believe his name's Mike, and I feel like an asshole.
That thought.
I was just gonna say, it tastes like a North Shore beef. So like the beef sandwich in the North Shore. I don't know if I say that in the video or not.
You mentioned it in the video.
Yeah. It tastes like a North Shore beef in terms of the rareness of it.
And it's Mike, you said?
Yeah. Oh, actually, go to the tag. Go to the tag in the lower left-hand corner. Just
Where?
Usually there's like a little tag on the left-hand corner populates. If you scroll over, just like literally the left of the photo, the far left point.
This
down
one?
down below. Oh, I guess not. Usually there's a tag there. It's like I wanted to show his Instagram name.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's oh god, I forget. I'm gonna have to look it up now just so I shout him out. Well, we went for pizzas, so we walked for pizza that night.
Nice. Oh, and this is the guy. So I mentioned this in the video that I did last week at IC3 about IC3. This guy was drawing insane portraits on an Etch-a-Sketch, which if you ever use an Etch-a-Sketch is like crazy. Like it's so hard to make like a straight line even on those. Well, actually, to make a curved line, I should say, because straight lines are easy on Etch-a-Sketch. But
yeah, the curved lines, that's the real challenge.
But this is what the guy was drawing. Like, if you can see, I don't know if you can see how detailed that is, but it's like it's like I can't make it any bigger, unfortunately.
Mike Grossman. God damn, forgot his last name. Mike Grossman, awesome guy. Great conversation, great time. So sorry about that. Guy from the prior photo, Mike Grossman.
But yeah, Johnny, this guy wasn't this guy insane? I don't know his name, but
his name's on the tag as well. He's drawing a reference from a cell phone. His name is Jerome, I believe.
Okay.
And Jerome, so when I left the hotel, I was walking with Jerome, and we walked to the hot chicken sandwich place. And then when we got the 30-minute time there, me and Mike split off, and we went for pizza. So it was like I hopped around with a bunch of different people. It was just it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
But as far as the Etch-a-Sketch goes, go on.
Yeah. There's no way to preserve this drawing. So what does he do with it? Just like draws it and then like gets rid of it? Or
well, there is. What was he saying? He was saying something about how he will make us a drawing on an Etch-a-Sketch, and there is some way to preserve it, but like he doesn't like. He almost gives the Etch-a-Sketch to the person, and like it's kind of like solidified or something. I forget what he was telling me, but I was just amazed that someone could even make something on an Etch-a-Sketch, which is so hard to draw on. Like you know what I mean? It is pretty cool.
You need patience.
How long did that take? Yeah, how long did that take?
He was working on it a good chunk of the night, I think. This was at the drink and draw that happened the night before. What is it, Johnny?
That's the artist right there, Jerome. Geez, let me see if they
Jerome.
It's like Cabanatin.
Okay.
Yeah. So his Instagram is JROAMCAB.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And this was the night of the drink and draw. We tracked down Matt Sardo to snap
busy guy. Ran an awesome show.
Yeah, he did. Gotta admit, he did a great job with it. And then
the fellow with the baseball cap, his name is Miles. Yeah. Miles Curtis. Creator, he was at the show, but this other fellow with the art pages on the table and the black hoodie, he's actually an art teacher, and these are kids from, I think, Brooklyn that did this artwork.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing because he has this program that's keeping kids off the street doing this phenomenal art.
Oh, wow.
So
that is cool.
respect to this project.
That's awesome. Here. And Roland's saying you can save the images if you carefully take something out of the back of the Etch-a-Sketch. So that's what the guy must have been alluding to. And then he gives the Etch-a-Sketch as the art to the person, whoever, which is kind of cool. Just makes it hard for you. You have to go find another Etch-a-Sketch.
Are they as plentiful now as in the 80s?
I don't think so. You probably have to go get them on eBay, and that's probably a whole thing. Crazy. Some more of the artwork. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah. Great
and this is that guy that you love, Johnny, right?
This is Tony McMillan. Yeah. So the show prior to IC3, I was talking about how Attaboy was a book that I had backed on the campaign. And I loved the concept of it. And so I wanted to take a moment to get one of the original copies of the book that he made. So that was the first thing he said when I brought the book to the table. He goes, "Oh, I love seeing the original copy."
Oh,
right.
nice.
So it was cool for me to be able to bring him something that's original. And then, when I went to go talk to him, I was like, "Look, man, like I really love this book. I love the concept. I love that you presented it like a Mandela effect."
Yeah.
And when you go up and you talk to a creator, you're like, "I love your book." It's like they don't believe you, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like I lifted up my arm and I was like, "Look, man, look at these goosebumps. Like this is what happens when I think about your book." And he was just like taken aback by that. So he was glad to do the remark on the cover for me.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and he's
Tony is here in Boston. That's correct. So yeah, Tony is a Boston creator here.
I got to get that book next time I see Tony at
it's
a show.
So awesome.
Just
I
on
love
your
the
recommendation of it, I'll have to snag it. Maybe
There's
he'll be
one
at IC3 next year or IC,
Yeah, I hope so. There's actually, I wish I spent more time with him because he did this other book that was a Friday the 13th bootleg comic book.
Okay.
So I love that he did something Friday the 13th in his style, that same style right there.
Cool.
But I was curious as how he did the bootleg, how to create and sell the bootleg products, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah. This guy seems interesting, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And his art style is very cool looking.
It's so cool. Yeah, it's
very,
awesome.
very stylized and different.
Yep.
And there's the slice.
There's that slice. Yep.
That slice does look good, man. I gotta admit.
It was good.
It looks like a thin
and after a long
crust,
day of the show,
like
it hit the spot.
Like the thin crust too is like
super thin, but Neapolitan style.
Gotcha.
So it was big but thin, and it tasted like your Pepe's or your Sally's. It was the New Haven style.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stanley Tucci, he had like a Italian running traveling through Italy and CNN.
Searching for Italy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so he
I
goes.
love that show.
He went to there's one episode where he goes to like a brick oven pizza guy, or whatever, and all the ingredients were from like fresh ingredients,
that area,
fresh mozzarella, like just made, and tomatoes, like they were grown from this garden that the soil is mixed with the soil of a volcano ash.
The volcanic ash.
It's so amazing, like. All these it's gonna be the purest pizza ever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he was a good villain in the Electric State.
Yeah, he was. Sorry, Johnny.
And it's Johnny's setup. If you've never been to a show and seen Johnny's table.
Oh, very nice. Yep.
Yeah, it's good.
I had the 7-Up Shirley Temples, and I sold like 5 of those for $5 a can. It's crazy.
Awesome.
People went nuts for that shit.
That's great, dude. I meant to ask you, how was that spot in the show? Was it
awesome? I hope that if I go back to that show, if I'm accepted back into that show, I can have that same spot again. That's how awesome it was.
That hallway seems like a great spot. I wonder if you can request it from Matt or not.
It was interesting, and at first I thought it was going to be a challenge that the table had to be flat against the wall.
Yeah.
But what it allowed me to do was to sit across from my table. And what it allowed me to do was to watch as people looked at my table.
Mm-hmm.
And I could observe. I can observe from a third party. But I can observe at what caught people's eye and what didn't. Right. So it was a great way of basically me doing
undercover boss,
basically, or like market research, right, in real time.
So with that knowledge now, are you changing the setup at all a little bit, or
not the setup? But I looked at what was popular there, right?
Okay.
What did people pick up? What did people look at? So it made me think about a couple of things, and
it always happens, right? At every show, you're like, I should have done this, should have done that.
But more importantly, and you've said this before, Keith, and I think this show really did it for me, was that this show left me revitalized. It made me want to go out and create more. It made me want to connect with more creators. I had an awesome conversation with the Ogles about projects and about personal life and all sorts of awesome stuff. So it was great. It allowed me to bond with other creators. Like I loved it.
100%.
Loved everything about this show.
How was it?
I do too. And as long as they keep doing it, I'll be back. I think. You know, as soon as he announces tables, I'm going to be in there. You know,
I want that hallway spot again.
Yeah.
And the only other, sorry, Harry, didn't mean to step on that. The only other thing was Jim Jones.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then I'd say watch the video on the channel about all the books that I got. I didn't get a lot because my budget is a lot smaller for buying stuff now, but I did do some trades and I bought all of Pat's books. That kid Pat we met from California.
Oh,
really
yeah,
good dude. Yeah, I gotta reach out
cool.
to him and get him on the show. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy that had a viral.
He had a viral video. Yeah,
and then he's also a filmmaker, but now he makes comics, and his comics look damn good. I gotta admit, like I was looking through them; they're really well produced and good. It looks like cool stuff, so I can't wait to read them.
Speaking of viral videos, are you going to show that burger video? Or?
Yeah, let's show that real quick, and then we'll start wrapping up. So this is the video. It's like about 3 minutes. It's about me and Johnny and George, and we ran into Dean Haspel. But our visit to Louis' lunch. So here we go, everybody. Enjoy this. Is it really? Everything's turning up, Millhouse. I love that he's wearing his elite. Yeah, look at that. I see that everywhere. Actually, it's too sweet. Too sweet. We are at Louis' Lunch here in New Haven, Connecticut. We're here because I dragged these two poor comic creator gentlemen who are joining me this weekend at IC3 at SCSU here in Connecticut to come here for a burger. But not just any burger. This is allegedly the very first burger in the country. So here we are at Louis' Lunch. Let's go check it out, guys. Yeah. No pets, please. I need that guy to stay outside. That documentary that Fred Anderson does. Remember, there's like a restaurant guy that only sells one item. It's right around. Wait, look at the menu. It's very simple menu. It's very simple menu. Oh, that's good. That's
my
cool,
instinct
right?
says that if you can write about that, you're good.
Right,
A lot better than I actually expected. Rarer than I normally order, but palatable still.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
It was so rare that the juice looked like ketchup.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to order ketchup here. It's actually forbidden. You know what? It actually kind of the rareness of it.
Bad,
the rareness of it reminded me of a North Shore roast beef sandwich.
That's actually a good call.
Right? Because the blood
there was
seeped into
something
the
about
bread.
the consistency.
Yeah. And it wasn't like it was dense. It was just like. Oh, it was good. It was good. It was very basic.
There's not much
but it was
here
good.
for a vegetarian.
Yeah. Vegetarian. Sorry.
Stay home on this menu is just cheeseburger or hamburger.
Did you snap a photo of the menu? Because it's so super simple. There's not a lot to pick from, but it's all very satisfying and good. Like, it's delicious. Yeah. And we had other comic creators in here that we chatted with. So
that was great.
Yeah.
Great tableside chats.
Yeah. Right? So that's our review.
We're
of
going to
Louis'
continue
Lunch.
at the Drink and Draw.
Yeah, we're going to keep going to the Drink and Draw. But make sure you follow George O'Connor on Blue Sky and on Twitter.
Thank you. Yes.
I dragged these poor souls down here to eat a really shitty hamburger because I saw it on a travel channel once.
Wow.
That's a great video.
That was
man.
that was a rare burger.
Oh
my
crap.
God.
Like, it was like,
Yeah, did you see when I held it up? I was like, and
yeah, I'm like, holy
what I
crap.
was referencing, did you guys ever watch that show Documentary Now?
I've
that
not.
Fred
No.
Armisen and Bill Hader did. It's a show that makes fun of, or a satire on documentaries, and they did one on this. It was called the episode was called Juan Loves Rice, or Juan Loves Chicken and Rice, and it was this restaurant that only served. And they only had like 4 items. Like you could only order coffee and it was black. And then the like the appetizer was a banana cut in half perfectly. Like it was just like, and then like a cup of rice with a tiny bit of butter and then just chicken. And you only got chicken if Juan was able to catch the chicken that day earlier in town. So when we went to Louis' lunch, I was like, holy shit. It's just like that episode of Documentary Now.
I can't remember who said it, but it was like, Abe Vigoda served us a burger.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And the guy he looks like the original Louis or something.
Yeah.
Man, what a fun weekend
Very
that
well-
was, though. I gotta admit, like I
very
don't
well put
normally
together.
Huh?
No, very
you
well
say,
put
Harry?
together video. I like.
Yeah,
that's Amy. Amy does such a great job on those.
Amy was filming all this stuff, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna cut together. But then when I saw what she did, it was perfect.
Yeah,
Like any cooking show, any show like that, it's like documentary kind of like that. Is like exactly like that. It's like the music. Oh, let's go over here and check out this place. And
yeah, right.
It's like the same. It's very well.
Yeah, no, it cut
well done.
together really well.
Well
and
done.
It's got some genuine laughs, and it's really funny.
Yeah,
perfect
that's
for
good.
our brand, I think. So
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But
We
what I
should
was
do that
saying,
more
though-
often.
Yeah. What I was saying though, I don't normally come in early for those drinking draws and all that stuff, and that was so much fun, man.
Oh yeah, it was good. Just to network
Definitely.
with people, hang out. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, if they do that again next year, I'll probably do this. I'll probably come in early for that.
Will you
It was
stay
just
at the
fun.
hotel on site though? That's the question.
Yeah. I'll see what my budget looks like next year. Hopefully, it's a little better than
Because
this
you guys
year,
stayed in a pretty shady hotel, right?
We did, and I got my deposit back, thank God, this week. So we looked into
Oh.
that. So yeah, I show up at this hotel that's kind of shady on Friday, and the guy's like just casually drops, "Oh yeah, there's a $200 deposit you got to put on your room," and I was like, "What?" So I was like, "I guess." So they took it, and then we were like, we were so worried and paranoid about it that I had on Saturday morning before we checked out, I had Amy go around the room with the video, and so this was like this was like we were recording everything.
You have to
It's
hold
just-
up an actual printed newspaper showing the date.
She did. She was like looking at my phone to show the date and time, and oh my god, it was like a ransom video. It was so funny.
Proof of life.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really, really fun time. And I bet it'll probably be my best con experience this year by far.
And I did well financially.
Yeah,
too.
you
That's
guys
the
both
other-
did well.
did
or-
too. Did too. It was pretty good for a one-day show, I gotta admit. Like better than like one of the library shows, but probably not as good as like a Terrificon, let's say, or or Wicked for me, but it was
It's-
somewhere in the middle. It was like
Yeah.
almost one of our street festival kind of numbers. So
So
it was
I
really
think-
good.
I think part of the magic of the show is that it was a one day that wasn't too long, wasn't overrun with like celebrity or big name talent,
Right.
and it wasn't overbooked in the sense that there wasn't too many tables, so there was enough commerce and patronage to go around.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it was on site at a college, so it attracted Rhode Island college, students and Connecticut college students. So there was a lot of like young talent in the room.
Was it
looking to network?
Was it packed or was it like good flow of people coming in and out?
It wasn't like super packed, but there was a steady flow of people all day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right to the end and everything. So I definitely
I made
think-
sales walking out the door.
Yeah, seriously, same. Yeah, well, like as we were packing up, I think I sold something.
Johnny.
Yeah.
You had prime real estate right by the doors. Like,
oh yeah, the only person who had a better spot than me was Tim Jones because he was like literally at the entrance.
I'm telling you, those spots, everyone has to go by you, Johnny. So it's like,
but to that point, everybody has to go by me, so it's easier to walk right by. Right. So for one, it's good for visual, like to show off what I have. If I have something eye catching, it's great. But it's also like I'm the first booth. So it's the prime example for the excuse of, we just got here. I'll come back around.
Yeah.
You know
how
what
many,
I mean?
like out of curiosity, how many people do you think just zipped by you versus how many that stopped and looked? Would you say it was like
40%?
How much?
40%.
Okay. It's not bad.
Which is, not bad. It's less than half.
Yeah. That's not bad actually.
Yeah.
And then maybe they hit you on the way out too. Like
they could have. I might not be remembering correctly, but I'm also like I did like a lot of interviews too. Like I stopped and talked to people. I talked to like other creators. So in doing that, I missed people. You know what I mean? Like I was like I mentioned earlier with Dr. Mask. There was a artist who worked on Daredevil and Green Lantern by the name of Richie Acosta, who stopped by the table and was, happy to share his portfolio. And he's got some beautiful artwork. You know what I mean?
I saw some of it because I think I had come by at that right around that same time that you guys were all there.
Yeah, it was a perfect lull in the show at that time to be able to connect and to look around and
absolutely.
So where I wanted to walk around a little bit more during that time period, I was actually very lucky to have just run into Richie and be able to look through his portfolio.
Yeah,
so that was kind of a blessing in disguise. And I saved a lot of the networking for the after party and for the drink and draw the night before.
How was that? Because I was out of there before the after party. Was the after party
good? It was a lot like, drink and draw part 2, people hanging out.
Was there less people or more than drink and draw?
The same. But I think people were more now acquainted.
Gotcha.
So like there was more like intermingling, I would say. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So,
That's cool. All right. Yeah, no.
Did you guys go to or were a part of panels or?
I didn't go to any and I wasn't part of any, but if anyone wants to see the panels, they do have a Indie Creator Con has a YouTube channel. I think if you just search Indie Comics Creator Con, you'll find it. And they put 4 or 5 of the panels up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool, yeah. Because it makes it an
good
interactive
information.
experience.
I watched 2 of them. One of them was about selling your comic to like stores, and a lot of that info I kind of knew, but it's good information if you're looking to do that. And then also the other one I watched was pitching to editors, and that one had some good information as well. And I probably will watch the other 2. I forget what the other 2 subjects are, but yeah. They have a channel and the panels are on there if you guys want to check them out. But yeah, it's really a great con in the vein of SPX or Mice or something like that, where it's just a strong focus on the people making comics, the creators of indie comics, basically. So highly recommend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so with that, we should probably wrap up. We've been live for a while now, and it's one of our long episodes because we had so many guests tonight. So before I start closing it out, gentlemen, anything you want to shout out this week? Any mentions or anything?
Well, tomorrow, I mean, I don't have anything going. I mean, I could show one of my boring logos, but which I have ready, but and people have seen. If you've seen one, you've seen a dozen.
Well, let's see it, Harry. Come on, are you kidding?
Why don't we table it for a less busier show?
All right.
But tomorrow is Greek Independence Day. I just found out a little thing that back in the olden days when I guess the term "okay" is actually a Greek word or a Greek phrase, which is "ola kala," which means everything's good. So I just found that out. So okay is not to sound like the guy from like the My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the father, but every word is like a Greek phrase or a medical term or whatever. But it's kind of okay. So when you're saying okay, you're saying a Greek phrase. So.
I like that.
Yeah,
I just said it. Okay.
So to everyone who celebrates or who observes Greek Independence Day, have an okay day tomorrow.
There you go. That. Johnny, anything you want to say, shout out, or anything?
Nothing in particular aside from the fact that because we're not going to be live next week, right?
Right. Yeah, we're back on the schedule for now.
So we just want to shout out that Keith and I on the 5th are going to be at Retro Expo.
Yes.
In Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Oh,
so
if not live between that. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep,
yeah,
that's right.
So Tiverton, Rhode Island, Retro Expo, great one-day show that's not overbooked. That's run by our good friends Wendy and Joe. Well, I'm sorry, go on.
Ogle Brothers will be there as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I told
we'll
them
keep the party going.
Yeah, right. Told them to try to get near us, like, because hopefully Joe put us all together. That'd be great. You know,
that's cool. Yeah,
hopefully. Yeah, I always have a great time at that show, and it's definitely really reasonable on the wallet. I think it's like $10 or less to get in.
Yep.
I
think Brian's going to be with me at that show too.
Oh,
so
perfect.
We'll have some of the apparel.
Awesome.
Some of the more apparel stuff that we do at the booth.
We'll go out to dinner after that night for sure. Somewhere.
Oh yeah, actually, that's a good idea too. Because you know what, Brian's looking for artists, so I'd love to introduce him to Tanner.
Yeah, absolutely.
For some side work. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. That'd be great. Yeah. So I forgot about that. You're right. So at Retro Expo in Tiverton,
right? Rhode Island. Next Saturday.
Me, Johnny, the Ogles, and I'm sure a ton of other people we know will be there.
Jack Holder, Jay Moores.
Oh, Jay's gonna be there.
Awesome. Ryan Santos.
Oh shit!
Lots of great people. Yeah, all of our friends are gonna be there. It's gonna be a good show.
Be fun. I didn't know all those guys. Ryan's coming on the show in maybe in a month or so. Ryan, you know that comic Ryan.
That comic he's working on,
yeah, he's coming on with that whole crew, the whole crew that made the comic.
Awesome, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like, I never met those guys, but I lettered the book, so it'd be kind of cool to kind of
have that experience.
Yeah, and that was a fun lettering job too. We'll talk about it when they're here, though.
Yeah,
cool.
It'll be fun.
All right, cool. So we'll wrap it up. Come see us in the Retro Expo next Saturday, and not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, right? The 5th.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So yeah, so it'd be great. So and then
another chance for rare burgers.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think they could get any rarer than this place had them. But
yeah, Louis is fucking rare.
Yeah, come see us there. And if you're watching this tomorrow, go to the links in the description and check out all the Kickstarters from tonight's show. Back those guys, or just check them out, or even support them. You know, or even spread the word if you don't have the money to purchase. Definitely help out the indie guys. We appreciate that. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks and read some comics.
Be excellent.
All right. Good night, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. Good night.